What's up, folks? Welcome back to the stream. We are live with the T5S2 Pod 75 finals. It's a really interesting one this time around because we've got two very different varieties of the new Thousand Suns Codex fighting against each other. I won't lie to you, chat. I looked at this matchup when I saw it, that it was in a finals game, and I was like, oh, great. Oh, fun times. It is a Thousand Suns mirror match. What a time to be alive. We're going to see Magnus, shoot Magnus a bunch and whatever, Psychic Dominion out. No, not today. We are watching a Grand Coven, relatively standard variety of Thousand Suns, using Magnus, using Rubric Marines, using Sorcerers, all of the standard, the classic Thousand Suns technology, versus over on the other side of the table here, thanks, DTS. Over on the other side of the table here, a Warpforged Cabal. One of the lesser seen detachments coming out of Thousand Suns. We've got over here in the red Isaac Tarada, a.k.a. Commander Cha-Cha, running our Grand Coven friends over here, versus in the blue, K. Follier, current T5S2 frontrunner in the finals placement. This actually could be an invitational game, to be honest. Both these players basically absolutely killing it in the current T5S2 season standings. Season 9's about to end, by the way, folks. Season 10 events will start to go live this week, but I will say I just updated a ton of events. We are almost at 500 players for the T5S2 series just this season, and it seems like we are staring down the barrel of our first GT in Season 10 being 150 players, thanks to the GT that's currently active. ! Events in chat if you want to get an active a link to that. What a time to be alive, everybody. TTS 40K going from strength to strength. It's super duper cool. So anyway, both these players, very absolute top of their class. And I was really excited to see this particular matchup because I think it went from being what looks like kind of a boring matchup to being one that looks really cool and exciting. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Let's jump into these lists. You are seeing Mutalith Vortex Beasts for sure. It looks like Commander Cha-Cha actually has I appreciate that both these players have chosen different Mutalith Vortex Beast models to use. Commander Cha-Cha has the photo scan with this like custom crystal base. Versus on the other side, we have the nice like sort of custom 3D model that was made by the modding community. Big shout out to those folks. But pretty cool to see both of these guys rocking a bunch of these big wiggly monsters over here. Let's go. Let's talk about the list. So first of all, we will go ahead and discuss Commander Cha-Cha's Grand Coven list. Now, I do want to talk for a moment, and I actually didn't talk about this at the Leeds Super Major, but there was a little bit of an interesting rules question that was posed by the community. Apparently, at the Leeds Super Major, the UKTC event staff ruled that when you are attaching units in the battle formation step, a unit like this Exalted Sorcerer on a Disc of Zinj cannot be attached to these Fatecaster, Greatbow, Zangor, Enlightened. The reason being is that he does not list Fatecaster, Greatbow, Zangor, Enlightened on his leadership roster. What's up with that? He can only attach to regular Zangors. That is, however, not necessarily the case. Little known fact here, everybody. Zangor Enlightened with Fatecaster Greatbows, the reason that this combo works is that they have the Zangor Enlightened keyword. Leader abilities, and I had to do a little bit of a deep dive into this to make sure it did indeed work this way. Leader abilities can check both datasheet names and unit keywords when they look for things that they can join into. So if you say, hey, I have my leadership says that I can join into any, let's say, I don't know, Heretic Astartes infantry unit, then anything with those keywords, Heretic Astartes and infantry together, you can join into. In this case, obviously, anything with the Zangor Enlightened keyword, the Shamans and the Disc Exalted Sorcerers are eligible to join into as well. Kind of a funny idiosyncrasy.
Your Zangor are basically the same where they are.
I don't think they can scout with the Shaman.
To put the clock on. Looks like the players pause it by accident.
Yeah.
Cool. kind of an idiosyncrasy of the rules, but it definitely was an interesting
Boom.
a question that came up over the weekend. Apparently, that was ruled the other way at the Lead Super Major, which definitely hamstrung the Thousand Suns' ability to do stuff. It would have been a very embarrassing discussion to have. But we do have that Wombo combo in this list. Isaac over here. Looks like K. going first, by the way. That's going to be a big boon to Commander Cha-Cha. Since we are running Take and Hold today, so the players are going to be able to score 5 points per battle round by holding objectives in their command phase up to 15 points per turn. However, the second player is going to be able to go score that going second.
All following turns.
So we're running an Exalted Sorcerer on Disc of Tzeentch with Incandium, so he can duplicate a Doom Bolt, potentially get some extra damage out on the go turn. We have an Infernal Master with Eldritch Vortex, so +1 strength and damage on him. A second Infernal Master with no upgrades, and then a pair of Sorcerers, one with Umbralific Crystal, one Standard Sorcerer. We do have a Zangor Shaman. I'm not sure where that guy is going. It looks like... he might just be vibing. Oh yeah, up here in the front here. This little Zangor Shaman's a pretty nice piece of technology. One of these guys as utility units is great because they're very fast. They are both infantry and mounted keyword, which allows them to go through walls, and they can still cast Kabbalistic rituals. They don't even lose any models when they fail a Kabbalistic ritual or when they empower Channel to Warp and roll enough damage to hurt themselves because they don't have an attached unit. So you're not killing anyone. You're only doing damage to a model that you don't really care that much about, and they only cost 55 points apiece. So they're actually kind of a steal. We've got 2 sorcerers. These guys are attached into Rubric Marine squads. One of them does have the ability to up down, which I believe is this guy right here. It is. He has the Umbralific Crystal. So in Commander Cha-Cha's command phase, he's going to be able to elect to pick that guy up and then drop him anywhere else on the battlefield. So we have 4 units of Rubric Marines to attach all those characters into, plus 1 unit of Zangors, 2 units of Zangor enlightened with Fatecaster Great Bows. Looks like one of them is just going to be unattached, I think. Are they going to be in reserve? No, I have no idea where the second Fatecaster Great Bow Zangor enlightened unit ended up. Maybe I am blind, but it seems like it is.
On this side.
God, did I misread here? It's definitely 2 units. I don't know where the second unit went. Anyway, doesn't matter that much. Plus 2 Mutolith Vortex Beasts and 1 Chaos Rhino. Is this correct?
Well,
I'm gonna verify the list here real quick, chat.
this guy's just going to scoot.
I'm seeing 1 Zangor Enlightened unit on Commander Cha-Cha's side, and I'm seeing 2 Rhinos. But I'm not sure that this is correct submitted list.
Do I want to fire?
Unless I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mistaken.
This is the next
I hope I am. That would be good. Otherwise, this is about to be an awkward conversation.
Not particularly.
Yep, Yep, 1 Rhino.
And then I eat Magnus, and then
Okay. Let me just... one moment, chat. Technical difficulties.
guy, actually.
Hey, so real quick, I think we might be on the wrong list, Isaac. You've got one Rhino in your list and 2 Fatecaster units.
Oh,
Did you swap one? Did one get swapped?
I must have actually. Sorry, I spawned in the wrong list. You're correct. I want to delete this right on here.
Yeah, I think everything else is correct.
Yeah, I'll just drop the fate vest. I'll just drop the second squad bows where the Rhino was. Right here.
-5 DKP.
That there. And then I think... Was that the only that changed? I think that's the only change, right?
That looks like it. Yeah, I believe that's the case.
Do you have Vortex Beast in that one? Oh,
there are 2 Middle Vortex Beasts in the list.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'll just drop these guys where the Rhino was holding them. That's where they were.
Is that okay with you, Kyle? Or do you want to shuffle those?
Yeah, that's fine. No.
Okay.
No.
Cool. Yeah. I was just looking through the list and I was like, where's the other unit? Are they in reserve? No, they're gone. The Fatecasters have left the game. All right, cool. Carry on. All right, chats, we figured it out. Oh, man. How would that have been ruled the other way? Yeah, it's weird because it's a keyword that is shared as both a keyword between separate units and a datasheet name. So if you weren't aware that
So you're still on that one.
you could check keywords for leader effects, then
This guy
that might catch you by surprise.
Okay.
I guess they ruled it that way at the event. That is certainly not the case. The precedent, by the way, just to in case this ever comes up in one of your games and somebody's like, hey, I don't think you can attach those guys, they're not on the list. The precedent is that Imperial agents check Imperium unit keywords to attach things like Inquisitors. So Inquisitors don't list most of the things they can attach into on their datasheet. They list a series of unit keywords that they're able to attach into, and it's exactly the same situation. The argument would be made there that, like, for example, an Inquisitor could not attach into an Adeptus Custodes squad because there is no datasheet. The Adeptus Custodes datasheet name is not on their leader effect, their leader breakdown. Only the Imperium Battle Line Infantry keyword is, which is what's required to be able to attach them.
Shoot at the Vortex Beasts.
Pretty weird and interesting situation, but hopefully they resolved it at the event. I actually have no idea. But that's a relatively standard list from Commander Cha-Cha this time around. Let's go ahead and jump over and talk about Kyle Follier's Warpforged Cabal. Now, Kyle's going first here, so we're gonna watch a little bit of turn 1 jockeying for position, moving out units where he really wants Commander Cha-Cha to respond with units that are worth dramatically more than they are. He's okay with losing these Fatecaster Greatbow Enlightened. He's probably gonna just do some actions with them or whatever, but he's gonna threaten control of this objective in order to potentially force Commander Cha-Cha to expose his more powerful units into the waiting teeth of all of these Thousand Suns guns. Now, for those who have not yet seen this detachment, it's pretty wild. It is basically an ape of the Ironstorm Spearhead from Space Marines, but existing in, obviously, in Thousand Suns. It grants your vehicle units 1 hit, wound, or damage reroll. However, if they are within 6 inches of a Psyker, they are empowered by Sorceress Might. That gives them instead 1 hit, wound, and damage reroll. Interestingly, the change from or to and is such a big change there because it gives you essentially 1 command point worth of value on the unpowered version, but 3 command points worth of value on the other version. Hey, looks like we've just done a temporal surge here, empowered it, and taken no mortal wounds to be able to move these Fatecaster Greatbow Enlightened around this corner. There's still going to be a potential that Commander Cha-Cha is able to get shots on those guys, but again, he's probably going to have to push so far forward that it's not really going to be worth his time to do so. And that will likely be an objective being held by Kyle, unless we do see sort of that big committal.
It's not letting me edit it either.
So,
what do you think?
these guys are essentially going to get a little bit of a version of like the Imperial Knights Noble or their Lay Low the Tyrants effect, where they can or get so many floating rerolls over the course of their attack sequence that they become very efficient. The downside, there is a downside to this detachment ability, is that each time a vehicle within 6 inches of a Psyker model is destroyed, it deadly demises on a 5 rather than a 6. So you are empowering your vehicles by putting your Psykers near them. However, you gain a bunch of rerolls, but you also gain the opportunity that you could be losing those Psykers because the vehicle is detonating when it's destroyed. Now, on top of that, there's a bunch of stratagems and stuff that are empowered when you have Psykers nearby, and many of these vehicles already get benefits when they are interacting with Psykers.
They'll recover.
Now let's go through the list in particular. We're starting by with it looks like a Sorcerer and Terminator armor with Perplexing Cloak. That is an enhancement that grants lone operative while that guy is within 3 inches of a vehicle. So he's going to be able to sort of play out in the open here, and he can empower all the vehicles around him while being immune to shooting and incoming damage. We then also have a Zangor Shaman with Warp Cursed Rune Master that gives him plus 6 inches of range while he is manifesting rituals within 6 inches of a vehicle. So he's going to be able to hide in the back over here. We have 2 Zangor Shamans chilling in the back here, hiding in the back over here, and basically just utilize the vehicles in the back to extend his buffs outwards.
I think you played Thousand Suns and I played not Warp. Before was Warpforged, but
the
Warp X3.
Kabbalistic rituals are going to be important here because we're we're definitely we need to be able to stack all those buffs.
Bring it
Um,
down, defend.
In order to get the most use out of the vehicles. The downside is that because we're not playing in this detachment, we have very little support for things like Rubric Marines. So we're not playing these aggressive combat sorcerers who want to push forward and do a bunch of damage. Instead, we're going to play these casters who are much farther back, and so that extra 6 inches of range is really powerful. From there, we have 3 units of 3 Fatecaster, Great Bow, Zangor, Enlightened, 1 unit of 10 Standard Zangors, alongside 3 Forge Fiends, 3 Predator Annihilators, a Hell Brute, and 2 Mauler Fiends. Maximizing the use of those rerolls. Now, obviously, the Megalith Vortex Beasts won't get them, but they're such an efficient data sheet, and they help empower the rituals as well. If you're channeling the warp, helps quite a bit.
If we push Magnus forward 20 inches, how useful is that? Magnus gonna go forward and say
do the vehicles have the army
over
keyword?
Here.
Do the vehicles have to have the army keyword?
11?
Yes, they do.
Get some over here.
The detachment ability is specifically only
not really, actually, because
only affects Thousand Suns vehicles. It's an interestingly worded effect. It grants you
so you'll get
it grants Thousand Suns vehicles an ability when they are selected to shoot or fight, and then specifies that the vehicle receives X ability. So in one part of the ability, it does not check a faction keyword, but you don't actually gain the bonus of the ability if you are not a Thousand Suns vehicle.
We'll get going. Got movement. We're just gonna push this Rhino inside the wall here, like so.
If someone is forcing me to stream, yeah, the my landlord,
Rhino just
so that I can pay rent. Let's go. I think this is going to be a cool game, though. I have played a couple of games with Warpforged Cabal and Grand Coven. In fact, I played both of these attachments. But I have not seen that many games of Warpforged Cabal played out. And so this is going to be a really fascinating game to watch.
11 inches is right there. Is that touching the thing there? We're just short, so we need a 2 inch on that advance to get there. There, you got a 4, so he'll touch that middle boop there.
Landlord's the ancient enemy.
Cool. He's got to touch that and give me 5 points.
I'm fortunate to have a very good landlord. My living situation right now is pretty great. Very laid back, which is good. So it looks like we drew an early area denial. Oh man, absolute stinker for Commander Cha-Cha here. Turn 1, bring it down draw. Against an army where your opponent is entirely vehicles, you really, well, I guess it's not quite as big of a deal anymore, but that bring it down, it should most of the time be basically a free 4 points for destroying an enemy vehicle. If Commander Cha-Cha's not able to score that out, that means that is a very live secondary that he's just going to lose. Now he's trying to get some guys up into aggressive positions here. In a spot where they can actually sort of affect this objective on the side. Looks like we're going to advance the Mutalith Vortex Beast up. We can use Temporal Surge to then get it out of that.
We're going to make sure we get a Psyker on him to double move him.
Yeah, get it out of line of sight there. But the real question is who does that and who's going to be able to be in a defensive enough position. Maybe one of the casters that's hiding behind this ruin over here. Or I guess the Exalted Disc Sorcerer is probably okay. The Disc Sorcerer grants the Zangor Enlightened an 18-inch lone operative effect. So one benefit that they have is that, well, the remainder of these Rubric units are really, really super squishy. The Zangor Enlightened unit is... can basically just play out in the sprinkler, right? They can move up to like even as far forward as this objective and potentially be very difficult to interact with by enemies that are standing here. That forces the enemy to come forward and actually engage with them. They can trigger reactive moves off that, but it also means that your short range, extremely high damage output units like these the Infernal Master Rubric squads are now suddenly in range to counterattack. That's why the Zangor Enlightened unit, in addition to being very efficient, also just like fits into the Thousand Suns game plan in a big way. And we're kind of seeing that manifest here.
Magnus the Red is going to drop right here, so you can basically go.
Should get a really nice mobile home. Sounds like a lot of work. I'm not going to do that. I like where I'm living right now. I would say I think I'm actually pretty happy with where I'm at. How's everybody going, by the way? How was everyone's Monday?
Yeah, cool.
Tons and tons of
Next one,
content out
and
today. What an
these
insane day.
things. Cool. All right, we're playing fairly pet
I basically
because you
spent
have a fairly
all of the
significant
time
threat
between the
profile
last
against me.
5 hours of streaming I did and now I
Send it.
updating sort of
Okay,
like
build
Discord
knots.
stuff.
All right, for new casts.
Building some Space Marines, hell yeah.
Guys over here.
I'm on my
Right,
phone.
building
Thank you
this.
for the follow. Appreciate that. I hope your phone's doing well. Don't crack the screen.
Here is the shaman.
Thanks for tuning in from your phone.
Double move first. If we need to reroll the double move, we can do that. If we like rerolling the Fetch the Doombolt, we can. So double move first. From Big Exalted Sorcerer. Cool. That is a 5. We'll roll another dice.
Let's take a peek at the dice roller here. Sorry, chat. I forgot it's not on the overlay anymore.
+1. Yeah, so we get
I have to build a new
the
map
big
base
one
this
there.
week, so I had to get my overlays back to where they were
go over
previously.
here. 4 inches. Pivot. Like so. Right there. Cool. Then we're gonna get the Doombolt from the shaman into your little guys over there. Here he goes. We'll channel. He's dead next to me anyway, might as well. So that's a 5, so it does not do anything interesting. So at 2 CP. I may discard, bring it down. I don't hate rerolling this here. So I'm gonna spend a CP and reroll it. Cool. So, mine, it's been a little bit. Mine has to be the baby Doombolt there. The 7 is the baby Doombolt, right? I'm not crazy.
Is it 7 or 9?
I might just 9. I'm sure. I had a
I think
picture
the
of it. It's been a little-
2,000 fun players. I'm doing this thing on my phone, looking for a picture of when I took that.
I took a picture. For how long did I take a picture? Where is it?
Doombolt 7, you're good. 7 and
Yeah,
11.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
5 and 10,
So,
6
it's
and
gonna
say-
do 3 more wounds to you. I'll kill a disc in a bit.
So plinking down this unit with the Zangor Shaman.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Uh,
And he can't. He's advanced as well, so he can't even shoot his gun.
Cool.
Cool. Fairly passive turn 1. We'll grab the area now for 5 points. I'm going to discard, bring down for CP, and then pass to you.
Cool beans. I will pick up these Zangors.
So that will score the extra, the 10-point primary for Kyle off of this bottom objective, the bottom center objective here, for those beautiful little fake Astro Great Bow guys.
Not that one. Okay. These guys serve. We're gonna score 10. We're gonna pull. Switch it over to me. There you go. I got
Been workshopping a Space Wolves list.
overwhelming force.
Whatever you settle on is going to be locked in for
You don't
2
have any on
months.
Objectives. Oh, you have one. You got the shaman.
Yeah, so the GT will probably pull the players once we get to that point, but the GT it's locked at 5 rounds right now. If people want to do a top cut and continue to play after that, I'm here for it, but it's not necessarily going to be the full 8 before it's done. At the very least, in order to get door prizes, we will. Yeah, you're good after 5 rounds. But the five rounds is what I set it up for to begin with. So it's not the GT is not necessarily going to go for the next year. And if we do get sort of balance updates in the middle, we'll be able to do a list swap as well. Trying to decide on the first Space Marine list, torn between Liberator Assault Group and Firestorm. That's a great question. I think Liberator's a little bit more straightforward. So if you've got a solid handle on the combat mechanics of the game, I think Liberator's gonna be helpful. Firestorm Assault Force is kind of weird because if you don't build it in a very particular way, it's not that great, and it has a lot of weaknesses that people can exploit if you're not prepared for it. Even case in point, my previous game the other day against Angelic Inheritors, I got a couple more things engaged in melee than I wanted to, and that almost ended the game, which was unfortunate.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Put this one. Here, these guys just walk through. Shoot the hell out.
I do like both those attachments, though. I mean, we just played Liberator Assault or Firestorm Assault Force earlier. Absolutely love it.
Interesting.
Is that particular way 20 in Furnace and drop ons? No.
This guy.
No, I like the Infernus Impulsors. I think that's my favorite way to play them right now. I tried to play the drop pod Infernus Marines at the start of the edition when you could get the Mortal Wound, the Devastating Wound stratagem for free from Space Marine captains. I was actually super in on the
Did he
on
take
the
wolves when he did it? No, right?
the double.
No, because I rolled a 5 with doubles, and then I rerolled,
Yeah.
and it was no doubles. So I was still checking. Yeah, it was a 1, 2, and a 4.
1, 2, and 4.
But yeah, when you could drop like multiple units down and get the immolation protocols like mortal wounds on 2 separate units, that was actually pretty spicy. But can't do that anymore. That was OG release rules, where Space Marine captains had a little bitty baby version of like Yellowman's buff. Essentially,
0.3.
everyone could duplicate stratagems all over the place.
Yeah.
What a wild time!
3.
You're not gonna flamer my shaman, would you?
I'm gonna try to.
So I'm interested in the inclusion of this this Hellbrute, actually. The
Vortex Beast. We can still stay safe for
Thousand Suns Hellbrute
turn, I guess. Shoot him. That might be fine.
just forces battle shock checks, but I wonder if we're in it. We're taking this little guy to be kind of an efficient melee profile.
16 on this one.
Kyle's list has it. I don't know if we've actually locked in its melee weapons, but the it looks like we're just rocking double fists. Those get a 2 attack bonus when they go to swing, so they're able to. They go to 7 attack, so he's like kind of a little cheap melee unit. He's only 110 points, and for a couple of flamethrowers and a melee profile and a kind of tanky body, that's actually kind of a nice thing to take as this instigator. So, Great Bow Sangors hopping over on the side here. Now we will have to. I believe that we pulled up the Zangors, into strategic reserve using their ability at the end of Commander Chacha's turn. We'll probably have to fill in somewhere around this corner here to prevent the Umberlific Crystal unit from hopping in and flaming that unit and then getting some damage into the vehicles. But we'll see how things end up. This first turn pressure that Kefalier is able to sort of force down onto these center objectives by projecting a lot of shooting dominance down the sidelines is kind of a big deal.
Poke him out there. I think we're fine.
The scary part about these Predator Annihilators as well, the Thousand Suns version has essentially an enhanced version of the standard Predator Annihilator ability. So he's got these 2 las cannon Annihilators in the back line here. He's also got one more in strategic reserve, just in order to hop in when line of sight gets opened up on one of these big vortex beasts. But they gain. They gain hit and damage rerolls when targeting something that was already targeted by a psychic attack, which means that they will basically be able. They will always have a floating wound reroll available, but if they're able to trigger that ability, regardless of their proximity to psychers, they are very close to being full hit wound and damage rerolls, which is pretty wild. Even if all you've done is just thrown a 24-inch range ritual somewhere.
They make here come through.
So that's pretty spicy. Those guys get in this detachment specifically, they get insanely
Kind of okay with
or high reliability. They get a twin linked reroll shot from their top las cannon,
on this line,
plus
on this way.
a floating reroll on their side glass cannons, plus full hit and damage rerolls. So almost every step of the process, they have a reroll.
Yeah.
The only downside would be if they fail to wound with 2
that line
of both of the sponsored las cannons, which is obviously very unlikely. If they do that, then they won't get literally full rerolls everywhere. But it's very close to being that.
You can get 1 vortex piece if you want. It's not how we do lines.
Hellbrutes have more weight in regular chaos. Yeah, Hellbrutes are higher statted, right? Generally than
You with that?
like venerable dreadnoughts in Space Marines, which is kind of interesting. Hellbrutes are, I think, a higher movement characteristic on average, and they usually have more relevant special abilities, whereas the mini Marine dreadnoughts are not particularly good. That said, the dreadnoughts in the
This over.
Space Wolves Codex are actually kind of sweet.
Then
If we were in a situation where I think everyone would be teching to like blast super heavy armor directly into like hell,
this is kind of best.
I think that the Space Wolf Dreadnoughts would actually be in a pretty cool spot. That would be an interesting way to build that army if you're focusing on those Dreadnought profiles.
Yeah, well,
20 with a max move, right?
Yeah.
All right, so he's coming to here if he wants.
Still waiting for new drop pod rules. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if drop pods really get a huge glow up in the new update. It looks to me like they're staying at 10 model capacity, which is really sad to me. If they could push to 11 or 12, I think drop pod's usability as a delivery system for like big ranged bricks skyrockets, right? If you could hop out a drop pod and disembark 11 guys, 11, like 10 Hellblasters and a character, that would be huge. But instead, what you have to do is take fewer ranged models in your unit in order to be able to, in order to be able to fit the character. You have to pay for Hellblasters that you don't include in your list in order to actually take the characters in, which is a real downside of that data sheet. And there's not really much else that you are that excited about taking in Space Marines, right? There's very little like 2x5 or 1x10 units that are particularly effective without a character attached.
Give up primary on this.
12-man drop pods and Centurions only take up 2. No, thank you.
Do need to double move him.
So even Centurions taking up 3 might be still good.
So close. He needs to be on this line, so he can't.
Yeah, need to up the cap. Yeah, but it looks like they have 10 seats inside, and I think you would be hard pressed to argue that they'd be able to fit an extra guy. I think they got around it with the Impulsor, because the Impulsor, like, you could stand up conceivably in the back of the truck, where you could put 3 guys on each side of the back area, and then one dude could be like hanging on, like standing between everyone else, and like just like firing over the top or whatever. But that's not the case for the drop pod, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be a tough sell.
Move these guys.
Another Firestorm thing you want to do is 10 Stern Guard.
Actually, okay.
Oh,
This thing wants
inside of drop pod.
Here.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever, unfortunately. But Stern Guard veterans have good they have strong attachments elsewhere. One thing that I mathed out was Lieutenant Titus on a Stern Guard veteran squad, because he actually gives sustained hits, which actually is pretty good against like midweight stuff. That's a unit, because if you target the Oath target, they get full hit and wound rerolls. Getting sustained hits, each one of those attacks is very high value, so you actually get a lot of benefit out of sustained hits there. Whereas otherwise, you might be looking for lethal and sustain if you're on Hellblasters or something, because the lethal hits off of a devastating wound like combi weapon is not that exciting. But the Stern Guard rifle getting a sustained hit that then rerolls wounds into devastating wounds is actually pretty cool for the wound roll.
I get 2 more points.
Let the lieutenant sit on the man's lap. Yeah, you're able to hang a firstborn lieutenant from the ceiling. He doesn't take up a transport slot, but you have to take the -1 wounded attack if you do it. He's a little skinny little man.
4. So just walks through at 6 inches. These guys just want to back up. So you're sitting on this side. You're 6 inches here. So we'll back these guys up a tiny bit. Although I don't think I can keep them both on and be outside 6. Or maybe I can.
I think it basically means if you within 6, you basically you basically touch a line.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I could. There's 2 points to sacrifice them versus just block you for a turn over here too.
So hard not to auto bring 10 Stern Guard with Azrael. Yeah, I played the Stern Guard with Azrael recently. In a game, and I was impressed. The wound rerolls on Azrael's gun is actually crazy. I didn't realize he was 2-shot rapid fire one with 2 damage. It's actually, his gun's like sort of insane. He's strapped to the roof with the luggage. Well, there's like cupolas, right? I guess, do Impulsors really have like 3 crew members? You just kick one of those guys out and put the captain in there.
I think it's fine. Okay with that. We're gonna go to shooting phase. We're going to cast Doombolt onto the Shaman from this one back here.
So benefit here of the extended range Shaman is if we have another caster in line of sight, which I imagine we're supposed to.
9, right? Cool.
We can...
For a big one, take 1. And you take...
What is that?
Minimum 4, so it's dice.
Yep, minimum 4. Cool.
All right, well,
double move this guy.
just laser cannon out of there. We could potentially like run out the Zangor Shaman, use the extended range to
Go
beam someone, and then temporal search him away. It doesn't look like that's what we're doing here, though.
Actually, no, within 6
Because 5 is a
range.
move, so you go D6, I believe.
Six
Or no,
plus
5 is
one
real.
to
I think 6 is just, yeah.
Yep. So he goes D6, right? D6
2
for 1 inch. That's fantastic. So we'll just leave.
Yeah, this is the downside of the Kabbalistic Ritual mechanic.
Cool. And
Inside this army, or inside this detachment specifically, is that it's very inconsistent. Whereas Isaac's list has a reroll floating, it has +2 to cast from Magnus. It's built around getting these consistent casts off. The downside of Warpforged Cabal is that it's getting all of that efficiency, not out of its out of its army ability, instead out of the detachment ability. And so you do run into these situations where you're trying to score points and you just fail because you don't have the level of consistency that you need on your ritual casting. So back to Commander Cha-Cha's turn. Very, very slow game so far. Only a couple of Zangors have been taken out.
No protection.
It looks... I think that the benefit here is that we do have... I don't know if the Shaman's meant to be attached to these Fatecaster Enlightened Zangors. That would allow him to reactive move if something comes up close to him to try to kill him. But as it stands, it looks like he's kind of out in the open. And we could just like turbocharge Magnus's cannon shot and get a line onto that guy, maybe.
Doing literally nothing there.
-5 DKP.
Yes, the goal this turn, we want to knock you off your 15 and then get my 5 secure.
So Zangors went into the sky. Umbralific Crystal looks like it's staying on the board currently. One thing that Isaac could do is lock in the objective over here for a command point and then hop the unit over here somewhere to try to get an extended range into the Shaman. If he does clip the Shaman, that would actually kill the unit as well on the objective if he's able to kill the entire squad. The Shaman must be by himself, actually, because he took damage from that empowered ritual.
There's them... there.
Otherwise, the mortal wounds could not be assigned to the character. You have to assign them as if they were attacks, which means that they are ineligible to be assigned to attached characters as long as the bodyguard remains alive.
Some OC on this objective here to grab that.
Man, Isaac, unfortunately, just not having like the board presence right now to be able to deal with these little Zangor Enlightened units running around, especially because as soon as he tries to push out to do anything to this unit, they're just going to react to move and put themselves in an even harder position to shoot.
Just here. Let's just do the base movement here, basically. Just here. There.
Downside from their position currently, obviously, is that they are not infantry. For whatever reason, the characters with the discs are infantry keyworded, but the Zangors themselves are not, which means that those Zangors, this is why Isaac has to move around this ruin wall. He's not able to use the breachable property of the ruin to get around the corner there.
Yeah, I don't think the game... I don't think I'm going to ever take that off of you, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's move
so I need a 5
off.
advanced. Yeah. I need a 5 chance to get all of them on here. So we're gonna go there. We're gonna see if we get. I'm gonna roll advance. See if we get.
Let me know if you can hear the players okay. By the way, chat.
I want to do with this.
If you need any audio adjustments,
I do get
to fix things.
A 4 ties, but 4 does not get me the big secure.
It's the best, if not the only reason to attach the Zangor Shaman to stuff.
You're gonna need a very large number to get onto that objective. It's not as
so
zero.
If you put in,
it's not impossible. It's a thing to worry about.
So a common misconception is that if a unit has an infantry keyword, it's able to go through walls. That's not necessarily the case. Only the breachable aspect checks only the
2 guys there.
Individual model keywords. So if, for example, in this case, like we have the Zangor Shaman, or I guess like our Exalted Disc Sorcerer over here with the Zangor Enlightened unit, only the Disc Sorcerer can go through walls. Even if they're in the same unit, the rest of the unit cannot. Because each individual model, when it moves, has to have the infantry keyword to go through. It doesn't check the unit keywords. It's just that most of the time an infantry unit will have the infantry keyword
that line.
throughout the whole unit, but that's not 100% the
Like
case.
on screen.
It also happens in Tyranids, like a Hive Tyrant inside a Tyrant Guard unit still can't go through terrain features, which is unfortunate.
Scoot him.
But that
instead.
make sure that you're not going through walls with your non-infantry stuff,
We'll do
even
some
if you've got a little character in there that
Uh-huh.
can go through. It does allow them to, like, you can do stuff like
that line.
you can manipulate the position of the unit where, for example, like the Zangors are behind the terrain feature here,
I don't think
but
I
the
can-
shaman's here. And then when you move the unit, the shaman can go straight to a position and the rest of the guys can go around the wall. And you can still like extend the area where the unit could be a little bit better.
You want to react? The bows over here.
But it's you have to have set up for a particular situation for that to happen. So Necron players move wraiths through walls. Yeah, wraiths can go through walls innately. They are not mounted. The issue is the mounted keyword. Mounted doesn't let you go through, but infantry and beasts can,
alright.
which includes includes wraiths.
not touch-
One of the many reasons that wraiths are incredible. If they don't have a technomancer inside them, which to be fair they almost always will, then they aren't even infantry keyword for,
Yes, I don't-
for any of the downsides that the infantry keyword might also bring.
I'm an idiot.
Oh, well, so wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't. My arm is inside the wall here, so I can't. I don't think I actually stand on the objective. I'm pretty sure. On my tail, I think it can block me. That's a little bit awkward. I think my tail is here. That's definitely not on the objective. I guess we'll keep that 6 if I do any moves, but yeah, I don't think I can actually touch it and. Yeah, I don't think I can touch it and stay behind the wall, which is annoying. Don't love that. Don't love that at all. So I don't. That's interesting.
Canis Wolfborn leading a Fenrisian wolf unit
I think I have to sack a mule
and thought he could go through walls with them.
plan to work.
Yeah, it's the same deal that the Hive Tyrant has. It's the same problem that he has, where he's a big slow monster and he attaches to a big slow infantry unit, but at least the infantry models can go through walls, and he's got to run all the way around.
Annoying.
It's a unfortunate. It's a sort of a combination of the issue with the ruin walls, I guess, rules in 40K, and then also that plus the attachment rules, which is unfortunate.
Make that a pretty long charge there. It's not objective.
Now, I think that
Awkward.
Isaac might be okay with like starting this peace trade here by clearing out the Fatecaster Enlightened. I know he doesn't want to give up a Mutolith Vortex piece for this, but if he can set up a situation where he can kill all of the Fatecaster Enlightened with his big stuff and force Kefalier to respond with his own big stuff,
Get maximum value out of it.
then he can.
4 inches across the wall.
He's going to be in a situation where he's now engaging with the
So I'm gonna go.
heavy armor of the Warpforged Cabal on objectives, which is where the Rubric Marines start to shine really hard. So if he can sort of set up a situation where these Vortex Beasts, who will probably honestly be killed by Predator Annihilators at some point in this game anyway, if he can clear out a utility unit with them, disrupt the scoring that's happening right now, and then force the other Thousand Suns to reciprocate with their heavy armor, then hopefully, I think is the idea, that will allow the Grand Coven to come back in a way that they can counterpunch the Warpforged Cabal and you sort of punish them for that push.
So we're literally more.
A little bit spooky because the Thousand Suns Forge Fiends are really efficient in this matchup. So as soon as they're going to get shots on these infantry units, they might disappear very quickly. But once it's Rubric Marines fighting like Predator Annihilators, you're feeling pretty good because the Annihilators are incredibly bad at killing Rubric Marines. And a sorcerer in a Rubric squad, appropriately buffed, can just kill a Predator if it has the opportunity
A
to.
little bit over here. All right. Do that. We created that. Let's put reserve block from this down here. Knowledge off that. We do need to make sure we don't leave a reserve hole over here.
An awkward Forge Fiend in the backline here would be really annoying.
Let's block that.
I kind of like that Kyle does have a reserve pool that includes one of each different vehicle type. He's got the melee Mauler Fiend.
I think we
He's
already
got
need
the
this.
anti-tank Predator and the
Block it.
infantry Forge Fiend.
There.
And he can use any of them at any time. So
here.
anything that
I think the rest
that
can be blocked.
Commander Chacha
Alright.
pushes forward to screen that area out, he could respond to in kind. He can respond to
There,
appropriately.
That.
The other thing, too, to consider is that we could potentially see a rapid ingress on K. Follier's turn here, or in K. Follier's opportunity, to then move that unit that he rapid ingresses in, and then double move it with Temporal Surge on his turn. So he can get a lot of distance out of any of these vehicles. There is also, I believe, a stratagem, if I double check over here, that allows them to gain Assault as well, so they could advance and
There's
shoot.
like a small hole here. At this point, we're lining up. Oh yeah, that's definitely not gonna fit. That's not gonna fit legal. So you fit a shaman there. Can't fit anything else. Fine with. To do that.
Oh, you can fall back, shoot, and charge in this attachment. I guess we can't necessarily advance and shoot.
He goes over here. Just gonna drop down here, poke his little tentacle out so you can see the Hilbert. We're going to disembark a unit from the.
Yeah, so Commander Chacha gonna push a little aggressively here. I think he's gonna sort of run into the fight. Being able to look at us go. We're disembarking a sorcerer unit right now.
Because getting back and transport is phase locked, not turn locked. So same
Okay,
result.
because it's a normal move. You
Yes.
can get back in.
So we'll line up. So
Yes.
both the sergeant and the.
Okay, I see what they're discussing. So the interesting thing about these Rubric Marine units, and this is like a funny idiosyncrasy of the unit composition, is that if they have a sorcerer inside them, they also have a second Kabbalistic Ritual caster in the Aspiring Sorcerer in the unit, which means that each individual caster can only attempt one Kabbalistic Ritual per round. However, we have two, so we could cast a Doom Bolt with our Sorcerer and then use our Aspiring Sorcerer to then move the unit with Temporal Surge. So even without any other units involved, this unit could potentially cast two rituals in this position. So we're going to play aggressively, do some damage, and then pull back into defensive position.
So we're gonna. I think there is gonna be like a line over here. So obviously, if you drop a unit over here from like throwing a unit over here, wrapping griffs, there is definitely a world where you can see Magnus's Wing. But we're gonna be.
I appreciate Commander Chacha's communication with his opponent here too. He's like, "Hey, if you wanted to screw me over with your movement, this is exactly how you do it. I'm going to recognize that, and we're going to discuss it right now."
Exist. Oh no, his wing.
It's the showcase of a good player for sure.
This wing situation is the best. Just like this here. So we're pushing him there, and this wing. Yeah, it doesn't open any line on the side, so we'll do that there. We should push back a little bit.
I think that Commander Chacha is almost certainly the player with the most ranked games in the circuit, by the way. I posted a screenshot of about in the Discord server a couple hours ago. I posted a screenshot of about 2/3 of his event record, which is just a absolute litany of events. He also he runs events in his own server called Path to Victory, so go check that out if you're looking for events. Currently, he's running a team tournament, which is just finishing up very shortly here, I believe, in which he played an entire team of 8 by himself as the Ringer team. So he would play all 8 games in a Ringer matchup. All on his own, in addition to playing a ton of other events over the course of the season. Commander Chacha, I think, has almost certainly, I don't know, like 300 or 400 games this season, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this Vortex Beast is dead no matter what. I think there's a lot shooting at it.
He's won more games than you'll ever play. Yeah, I know, and it goes to show you for sure. He basically came out of the gate swinging a year or two ago, and just like basically refused to stop playing games, which is certainly a way to get really good at 40k. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think that he has a GT win IRL under his belt now, even as early as he has been.
Fair enough.
Sort of playing. So we are going to drop a Rapid Ingress, it looks like. We're putting a Forge Fiend, or Mauler Fiend over here to counterattack into the Vortex Beast. Benefit here is that we could, if the Vortex Beast pushes too far forward, we could open up a Heroic Intervention line.
This, so we can
onto the Mutalith.
Heroic, I guess, if we need to.
That is the Grand Coven player. Yeah, Commander Cha-Cha is the Grand Coven player.
Doesn't matter where to go.
BCO will give points for next season. That's correct.
Point.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's going too long to get under the limit for this one.
Cool.
Cool.
Down
Shooting phase.
CP.
We're going to
300 is low. Yeah, fair enough. K. Follier is the highest ranked player in the circuit, though. He has a bunch of really big event wins under his belt this season, so he's currently number one.
We're indulged with them.
In fact, he just yesterday, I believe, or the day before, he took second place in our last GT. The game took a bunch of extra time to get scheduled and play, but it is finally done.
That is a 10. I will channel here just because I want to basically get the guaranteed shaman kill. I will take one of those, obviously. Cool. Shaman's dead. I'm going to take 3 wins in my squad. So.
Okay, yeah. So Shaman wasn't attached into the Zangor Enlightened unit, but he is going to get rid of it really quickly here. Eats. That's an assassination for Commander Cha-Cha. Unfortunately,
gets back to my note.
He loses a Rubric Marine for his trouble.
Yes, we do have another cast from the squad available now. I'm going to put. I'll attempt to cast the reroll hits to help root with the squad.
Who's going to move them? Oh, they have a guy in this ruin, so Magnus can cast on them. Nice.
Leave the rerolls at
You'll
the
love
5,
to see it.
so I will let that go on a 5. Want to channel?
Yeah, that's reroll 1s to hit now.
More mortals in the squad, so I'm just gonna let it be a 5. So reroll 1s to hit on the Hubbard.
So after that update, you're chilling in 14th. More hopeful about making the Invitational. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, to be honest. I saw that your ranking dramatically improved. Definitely. And there's not that many events to be submitted. There's, I believe, 2 external events that are going to be submitted before that. Commander Cha-Cha's team's event, and there's a Get Good event that have not yet been entered. And then there's 10 more pods, I think, and then that's going to be the season ranking. So it's not going to change too much from where we're standing right now.
No, they're not actually right. Yes, they don't. I believe the 9 is actually P, so they don't get that. They'll take. It was a cast, so they don't take anyone else. There, so just chilling. Yeah, so nothing happens. Yeah.
Or no, it's teeth. Yeah, or.
Yeah, cool. Do the mortals have you if it's unsuccessful cast? I'm trying to remember.
I think if you roll the 3rd, it goes off.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, I'll take that there. Yeah. Take 2 mortals, kill it.
Wait, did you roll
see you anyway.
4 or 2?
I rolled 8. I rolled 4. Yeah, so D3.
Okay.
Cool. That's it there. And then I think that is all my casts. I'm pretty sure. I can't think of anything else I want to do here. Yeah, can't think of anything else there. Alright, so that's gonna be it for me for casting. Let's go to shooting.
142 people in the welcome GT. Whoever wins will basically get into the next invitational for free. Yeah, not quite. Most of these players are pushing 800 points, I think, with their top 6. And this event will probably only give 200 and something, 220 or so if you win it.
AP2.
You still got to, but it gives you an incredible leg up. You definitely, it's a lot of pressure off if you do win this one. Or probably 5-0. I think we're going to end up doing this. It might end up cutting to top 5 or to undefeated.
Is his range? Sorry, he's 18. I think he's only 18 as range. Never mind, he's at range. Yeah, so never mind. Ignore that. Hey, ignore that.
Good time to roll
cool. This here is gonna shoot the hub in the face. Have a brave, so hits. It wounds.
Probably only get 3rd places and pods for the rest of the season. Make it in, yeah. Yeah, it will definitely help somebody from... right now, there's a lot of points in external events because they tend to be large, but it will definitely help if someone does well in the GT and then also pushes and continues to do well in internal server events, smaller events, then I think they might be looking good for Season 10 Invitational.
Cool. We're going to do this guy here. He is going to put his big gun into the middle of Vortex Beast because that's the best thing to choose big gun.
So 1 Vortex Beast cracked the Hellbrute.
Hits. Wounds.
Huge invuln save here. Oh, boss is the invuln save on the Vortex Beast versus Vortex Beast fight.
That's that there.
Those Mutalith Vortex Beast beam shots are maybe the scariest thing in the universe. This 1d6 plus 6 damage devastating attack.
Now we are
If you spike the damage out, it can end the entire game really early by clipping
Go to
something out you
policy.
didn't expect.
If I make the charge, you will heroic. You're guaranteed heroic. What's the odds you kill me here?
He heroics for free, too. But
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I have the CP.
So, yeah, sure free. You have. There's this plus one wound strat. Is it? It's shooting only, right? Or is it melee as well?
I think it's just shooting, and it makes it psychic. I'm pretty sure it's just shooting. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, they're talking about ensorcelled infusion.
Just shooting phase.
You have to use it on a vehicle that is within 6 inches of a psyker, and then you can get +1 to wound.
That's neither here or there.
That's another reason that the psychers are so important for this detachment, because they turn on a lot of the stratagems,
David.
or and further empower the
Yeah, it's only
stratagems
to
too.
charge a vehicle, so never mind.
Okay.
You're good.
So it makes charge. You swing to me 6 attacks. You're not next to a psyker, so you get
1 reroll.
just 1 reroll. 6 attacks. You get 4 hits. Reroll 1. You get 5 hits. Wound me on 3s, like 4 wounds. Save 1. There's a pretty decent chance I do just die. You do have to roll like not. You have to roll like okay.
Oh man, Commander Cha-Cha exposing his Vortex Beast and not getting the
chance
the Zangor Shaman kill here is gonna, or the Zangor Enlightened kill here is gonna be huge, because that Enlightened unit's just gonna vibe on that objective for the rest of time if he doesn't expose something to get rid of it.
Worth the risk, just giving you another 10. I really want to hold you a 5 here. I like CP as well, so I think it's fine discarding us. We're basically tied on second. I'm a little bit.
It'd be really nice if the Demon Prince line up worked on vehicles. Well, you can sort of chain it here because we have the Perplexing Cloak caster, so he can gain vehicles from or lone operative from vehicles, and the Demon Prince can gain lone operative from him. So if you put him next to this guy, you basically do get lone operative from vehicles. In fact, a little bit of a better version because you can be farther away from the vehicles than normal.
And assassinate.
Yeah. So there's a little combo in there you can do. It is only one character, obviously, but it does let you potentially protect that guy.
I can't play the game forever because you got bottom of torm scoring on take and hold.
I would never try to grab 15 on bottom 5.
Top 6 places are 3 second places, 2 third places, and a 4th place. You just gotta win 150 player GT.
I want to do.
That's it.
How much can we kill this turn?
Just hiding behind that guy's legs. Yeah. The sneaky beaky little Demon Prince. I've got a cool Demon Prince model I use. I have like a Sobek guy that I put together, who's like a big Demon Prince with a crocodile head for my Egyptian Thousand Sons, which I was very proud of.
He's coming up.
Thousand Sons are such a cool army.
You've already pulled green.
Well, I'm glad they're seeing some play. It is unfortunate that it seems like a lot of the armies in the detachment are sort of like very falling down this like Grand Coven route. The Warpforged Cabal is cool, but it does feel like a Chaos Space Marine list. Would be nice if like Risen Rubrique or some of the other detachments saw some play, but unfortunately,
And here,
the classic Thousand Sons units are falling by the wayside a little bit in favor of Zangors and vehicles.
assassinate. There's nothing for me to assassinate other than here, but I can't shoot them. Oh, yeah.
So extremely slow turns right now. Commander Chacha did push out pretty aggressively here to block scoring, but didn't really do that much damage. Just got rid of the Hellbrute and the Zangor Shaman. I'm going to see what we could do to reciprocate here. I mean, Kyle could play this really cagey and just pick up the Mutalith Vortex Beast and call it a day. You know, take the trade he was given here. But Magnus is in kind of an aggressive position.
Put like 1. And then
Interesting.
shooting it.
Planning up the Mutalith Vortex Beast shot into Magnus. I don't know if that's going to be super effective because it basically just
You
bleeds
have
the
to,
command points
because
off of
it's gonna
Commander Cha-Cha.
have to-
If a beam shot goes through on Magnus, there's literally no chance it's not getting destined by Fated to get zeroed out.
Drop you from
So a single Vortex Beast actually, if you're holding up Destined by Fate to reduce damage to 0, it actually has literally no chance of wounding Magnus. if the command point expenditure is not that super valuable for you, you need to be able to put multiple things in there. T5S2 placings is first place and the rest second place for pods. Not joining G2 has definitely helped. Yeah, it's as the season, the series is expanding.
Nice.
The larger events have gained like more
You spend like 5 hours in command phase thinking what you're doing.
more weight on the season rankings, but to be fair, like it might be something that we need to address like as we move to season 10 if the internal events get larger, but we'll see.
That's fine then. So we're rerolling. We do have to bring everything down actually. So we want to wrap it next turn. So it means this guy wants to be here for the charge. These guys step up here. They could come through and help shoot. It's not going to be enough. Did leave me a little room to land there.
Yeah.
How do I do this? 1, and then 1, 2.
Big thinky game today, chat, between these two players. I think it's what you'd hope from a Thousand Suns mirror match. If you are just, I just noticed a bunch of people hopped into the chat room. If you are just joining us, we are playing the Pod 75 finals. We're going into the top of round 3, and the total casualty pile is extremely small. Both of these armies have basically refused to engage with each other in any meaningful way. The matchup is currently, the stuff in this side of the table are Kefaliers. These are a Warpforged Cabal.
Quite a bit if I take
Thousand Suns detachment versus a more standard Grand Coven. So all of the Rubric Marines and most of the infantry are for Commander Cha-Cha over on the right, the left-hand side, excuse me. The right-hand side, these the Mutaliths with the blank bases here, as well as all of the Forged Fiends, Mauler Fiends, and Predators. Those are all belonging to the Warpforged Cabal.
I do want to be.
It's nice that Magnus is not an Ultra auto-include. Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with that. I think there's maybe some like units that I think could see a little bit of an improvement. Like it doesn't. People were really high on Scarabacult Terminators, and I don't really know if those are like kind of the truth and the light in the way that a lot of people have assumed that they are. But to be fair, like it's okay if not everything's really super great. It does feel in a lot of cases like the good stuff is still
4-inch charge.
Pretty good, right? Like the cool Thousand Suns classics, the Sorcerers, the Rubric Marines, and Magnus are still good, but not necessarily the only thing that you can possibly play, which is how it was in the index.
Yep. Downy, which means I need a guy here then. Yeah.
So this Mutalith Vortex Beast belongs to Commander Cha-Cha. It's pushed forward very aggressively to block scoring on this objective. However, we saw Kefalier drop a Mauler Fiend behind the unit it was about to charge, which dissuaded the Vortex Beast from charging, because Commander Cha-Cha thought that there was a pretty reasonable chance that the Mauler Fiend actually just punches the Vortex Beast to death if it doesn't roll well enough on its invulnerable saves. So he's basically allowed this trade to happen in order to prevent scoring for a turn. But the big thing is that what he's trying to do is get these big long-range vehicles out into the open where he can start to pick away at them with Magnus and with his ranged superiority.
So he will just go his 8. So go.
The interesting thing about this matchup, I think, is that Magnus is so dangerous. Like, he can kill any one of these vehicles almost instantly, literally by looking at them. And he's so fast with Temporal Surge that he's able to reposition himself along the sight lines across the sides of the table very quickly. An interesting thing you have to consider is that Magnus's line of sight begins about 4 inches off of his base because of how large his model is. He's one of the weirdest cases when it comes to like drawing line of sight and utilizing the 10th edition line of sight rules. Because you can trace line of sight from any part of his miniature, which includes things like his outstretched wings, and you measure range from his base, he can actually be tracing line of sight from the side of his miniature way far away from where you would normally be drawing your range. So when you're going to move Magnus or consider where Magnus can move in order to block line of sight to him. And a benefit that Grand Coven has is it can extend his range to essentially infinite. So it's very difficult to actually hide away from him out of his threat range. So what you try to do is keep yourself out of line of sight. However, that's extremely hard because Magnus can move up to potentially 22 inches between a 6-inch temporal surge plus a improved movement
Is this two want to come over?
aura from himself, so up to 16-inch movement, plus a 6-inch temporal surge, 22 inches, plus he can rotate his miniature around to put that wing out off the side to then gain an additional 4 inches of line of sight. So if you consider, Magnus can move like 20-ish inches, that's not really the case. Magnus can move 22-ish inches and then rotate himself, so his actual final position of where his wing could potentially be here, which means basically these two lines of sight across the sidelines of the table are always open to Magnus if he's in a central position like this, which is why Kyle has to be very careful about where he ends up putting those models. And the worst case scenario for him is if Magnus is able to get line of sight to something and attack it from a defensive position of his own. If, for example, there was a vehicle here and Magnus could squeak around the corner here, temporal surge himself into this position, shoot it, and not be in range of the remainder of the las cannons to shoot back at him, Commander Chacha just gets to pick up those pieces for free, and that's the sort of piece trade he has to start making in order to get the benefit in this game.
36 from.
One of the weirdest things about playing Magnus, and you don't really start to see the lines unless you played with or against Magnus quite a bit, but the number of times that you can see that, I mean, obviously, looking at this board state right now, this is fucking wild because every single line's being pre-measured because all of this stuff is hyper important for where exactly all of these like big hitter pieces can go. And it's not really something you necessarily expect if you don't have a lot of experience with Magnus.
With your crazy guys, so that's 9, and then 9 from this one.
Obviously, in this case, both these players know exactly what's going on, though, so they know how to set up this piece trade.
Scoot this guy over a little bit. Just make sure you can't land there. And this little X spot.
As we're moving on to, just as a reminder for folks, keep in mind that the Mutiliths with the base, with the textured base, are Commander Chacha. So those belong to the red player.
Can't see these guys' auras on this terrain very well. I think you can fit here probably with a 5-man.
Yes, correct. That's definitely.
I should fix that.
Modern art drawn on a 40K table, indeed. The real goal is to start to like trace your lines of sight in a way that draws a picture, or start to like
move.
You start making
I don't think it's worth it.
you start writing messages in your sight lines.
This thing is going to come.
So yeah, Kyle's going to start to drop units out of strategic reserve. He still has a Forge Fiend in reserve, but he doesn't have any super good lines that he can trace along the sides here.
3, 4.
So the one thing that he's got to consider doing is he can hold up 1 rapid ingress for next turn, but we are getting towards the end of battle round 3, so he needs to bring those reserves in, otherwise they die off the table. So
See this.
He's got to drop a las cannon predator, even in a position where like it's not going to do anything, because otherwise he risks losing it for literally no benefit.
I can even see him putting him down anywhere.
Looks like we are going to try to push the melee stuff really hard here. Mauler Fiend's pushing forward, Mutilith Vortex Beast pushing forward from the blue Thousand Suns, in an effort to set up a situation where we can start to like deal this. We can start to set up this peace trade in the
might get him.
Warpforged Cabal's favor.
This guy's dead. Problem is this one I think might live, and that's not really something I want to happen.
This guy's dead. He's dead already. Do you want me to even roll it out?
I don't know how I can.
In fairness, he is probably about to explode.
So. I don't think there's room for me over here. I think this is a little shadowy there.
If you draw T5S2 in legitimate sighting lines during a T5S game, is it an auto event win? Yeah, maybe.
I guess the best thing I could do is I could put him here and then try a 6-inch move.
It does feel like lines of sight in 40K are like a bit of a infinite monkeys situation where you end up with some beautiful artwork if you play enough games where you draw these infinite sight lines everywhere.
Which means, what is this guy doing? This guy, I guess, is hanging out.
This is why I actually just tend to trace my sightline on my measuring stick and then ping where I want to be. I declare the sightline beforehand and then I ping it for the most part, because you do get situations like these where
Is there a line there?
the sightlines become meaningless because every part of the table is a sightline once you get down to it.
I think if I move this
Yeah,
way
I think
a
you're
little bit, there is okay. So he could go there.
First round of a newcomer GT, one player drew Exodia.
Back him up more.
Can you imagine, like, okay, I'm gonna try to make sure I don't get like saying over here, and your opponent's like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "Don't worry, that's a leg."
In strategic reserves, we can keep them one more time, just so you have to keep screening. Maybe casting rerolls. I could cast a double move here. I want a big double move, so I want to cast the double. This guy wants to slide back and in. Oh, then I'm not within 6. This guy can move. Okay, he's just gonna slide up a little bit. Do you mind if I slide him up just so he's within 6 of him?
That's fine. Sure.
Okay. And then he's not gonna take mortals. No. That means that this shaman can come down, and we can.
I like the idea that seems to me like the fantasy of this detachment is that we have a bunch of like sort of dark mechanicum artificers inside our Thousand Suns army that are like creating psychically empowered vehicles. But I also like that the mechanical effect is that you're highly incentivized to take a bunch of Zangors to babysit your highly technical vehicle units, which is extremely funny to me. I love the idea that the Thousand Suns equivalent of a tech marine is just like some sort of raging barbarian who like a voodoo wizard who you've given a disc and the keys to your entire motor pool.
Yeah, cost on him. 2 dice.
Who's casting it?
This guy right here will do. Oh, because I need to reroll hits
Cool.
here. Can this guy see him? Yeah. All right, we're good. We'll do this guy onto him. And we'll do one more.
The Marine is yelling at the Zangor to keep the flashlights
Going
still.
for 9, which is a decent.
It's true. You think they use the disc of Zinch to
One more.
as like one of those rolly those like floor rollers to go underneath the vehicles? I bet they for sure do, right?
For 1, so that's not going to get us there. That stinks. So we'll just move off. Good call. We're going to cast reroll hits on this one.
Yep.
Zangor Shamans are so cool, chat.
Cool.
What a sick model.
4 rerolls to hit
Oh,
on
what's
him.
that?
Cool. Let's start. End of moving phase. He takes a battle shock and mortals from this guy.
Yep.
One mortal.
Yeah, we'll have to
He passes the
have
battle.
a writing contest at some point.
One mortal.
1 to 2 is just 1.
It's a 3.
2. I mean,
It's one more, right? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Take that. Cool. We'll start with stuff that can't shoot anywhere else. The Mauler Fiend into. It's 2 shots. No, we'll start with this guy because he gives me plus to hit. He'll shoot you. We'll do his 3 shots. 4 rerolls to hit. They'll hit. Anti-vehicle. It's 6 mortals.
was it anyone after interview? What is this one?
Sorry?
Yeah. I just take 6. Yeah. Yep. Take 6 mortals. You might get him. I don't know. I don't know if you have enough shoot. Anything no.
I have way too much shooting him. Not enough down this way. That's alright.
Take 2 mortals. Haha.
That's pretty good. We're gonna start with this smaller fiend into him. I guess I probably could have double moved him, which would have made more sense, but we'll live and learn. 2 shots on 2s with 3 rolls. Cool. That's not how dice work. 2 shots, both hit on 5s, I think. 1 reroll. Nothing. He's done shooting. We're gonna go to this Annihilator into him.
Yep.
First 2 shots on 2s, rerolls. Cool. And then on 3s with rerolls. Here's his 1 wound reroll. 1.
Yeah, because like he's
83.
Predator, and I guess like additional reroll, right? It's there.
D6
Uh,
plus
go
1.
through.
He rerolls the damage too. 4. We'll reroll it. 4 again.
Take 3.
All right. His twin linked one hits. Wounds. Same thing. AP3. Cool. D6
Pass.
shots. 2 shots on 2s. On 6s. 1. No AP. Cool. And then I should be
Good.
24. And his last 2 shots, the combis. Bolt hit. Nothing. So he's done. Done. What were my objectives? It was spend stronghold assassin. Yeah. We're gonna do this Forge Fiend into him over here. 3d3.
Mm-hmm.
3, 4, 5, 6. 2s. And then 5s. 2. On your invul. 3 each. Cool. One.
It's so many lines of sight, chat.
What's the field pain roll?
You got 1 5.
This is Warhammer Light of
3, 4, 5.
Line of Sight
Down to
edition.
2s.
That's this guy. We're gonna give this one +1 to wound, and we're gonna shoot at this Forge Fiend back.
Hashtag just CTS things,
Actually-
indeed.
He's
Yeah.
shooting in the microfield.
The funny thing is, like,
So-
in IRL, you would just, like, measure the line and be like, all right, I'm on the line. And your opponent's like, okay. And then you just move on. TTS, because they're here permanently, we get to watch them.
1 shot.
I may go, although the
Oh.
players are using auras quite a bit here, so I don't know if I'm going to go through and burn all the lines of sight, because it does remove the auras, too, which would be problematic, I guess.
Cool. We are going to shoot this Forge Fiend at that Vortex Beast, and we're giving +1 to wound. So we're going on 4.
Cool. I'll spend a CP and give him a 4 at field pain.
Cool. Is it against? Oh yeah, because it's psychics.
Like weapons. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, great interaction there. I actually didn't grok that, but Isaac knows what he's doing here.
Shots.
The +1 to wound stratagem from Warpforged Cabal gives you empowers your weapons to be psychic as well as +1 to wound.
Doesn't your strength 10.
Because it's a psychic weapon, it's an eligible for psychic dominion for to force it to take hazardous and 4+. You grant a 4+ field no pain. That's crazy. Actually, that's a big deal in this matchup.
Take 6 damage on a 4 at field pain. Take 3 damage, and you'll have 3 hazardous tests.
Good.
Dodges the hazardous though.
We're going to.
Yeah, what a wild interaction. If we're just trading CP, that actually makes the Grand Coven dramatically harder to damage in this matchup.
We'll put the
Magnus is never dying unless we're
gun.
just rolling raw dog strength 10 Forge Fiend attacks into him, which doesn't feel that great.
Big guns first. He has full rerolls. Cool.
Is it 4 rolls?
1. He rolls against monster vehicles of psychic ability too. This guy when he becomes psychic, that's why you got your feeling pain.
Oh, because you shot with psychic weapon because of the forward
Yep.
fiend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. All right. Pass it.
Cool. His twin linked one. He gets a reroll. Hits. Wounds. Or invul. Okay, just roll all invuls.
Living life.
The blast gun into these guys. D6 shots. For 4 + 1 is 5. Does it have range? I think it's 48.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, it's 48. Yeah. Cool. Nothing. Cool.
Interesting thing too, right, is that we're only an hour into this game, and we're already most of the way through the actual
we
like
are going
the
to
actual
this vortex
game state,
vortex
right?
back there.
We're at this rate, we're about to hit the halfway mark of the game
we'll
time,
see if
even though we're only an hour into the actual round, chess clock.
Still does not wound.
It is about to pop off here.
Going fantastic. We're gonna shoot.
Mutalith Vortex Beast vibing on 1.
See, he's gonna shoot into this.
But I think he's almost certainly going to die to a Mauler Fiend. I think it would be nice if Cabal does not push. Get to, every Forge Fiend has rolled 1s for shots. If he doesn't have to charge with the Mauler Fiend, that will be kind of a nice
I can reroll one.
a nice thing for him.
Yeah, 3 wound.
The 4 wounds.
It might be paused. Yeah, it gets paused occasionally if they are using other hotkeys. So because the clock hotkeys and the aura hotkeys sometimes overlap, occasionally it gets paused.
You did it. You killed him.
I needed to kill this one though. He took nothing. It's a little rough.
He took 3.
Well, that's okay. What I probably should have done, because this guy didn't, is I should have moved him up with an 18, which would have been easy, and then shot there, which would have helped.
And blast them.
Yeah. But that's alright.
Sorry, you rolled a 1, so if you did got it, you would have made it.
That's true. Cool. That's the end of it. After I ended shooting charges, do I want to charge here?
Go for the Rhino charge.
What does that get me? I put something on the objective. Just gives you increased damage. These guys are getting out anyway on this side, and they're shooting over here. I think we're fine with that. Can't deep strike anyone back here. You're along this side. So I'm cool with that. Call it there. We'll kick it over to you. Defend strongholds ongoing. Assassination, do I hold on to? You have to put something out eventually. I think we'll hold on to both.
Cool. I'm gonna actually run to the bathroom super quick, but I
No
will.
worries.
I will be back in like 2 minutes.
Thinking I probably should have been a little
You can give it a quick pause here for Community Chat to go to the bathroom.
Maybe shoot this instead.
Yeah, the Forge Fiends refusing to reload their guns was a little bit hard to watch.
Wow. You mean all 3 of them rolling 3 hits?
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
It's all right. Problem is this the better target for this guy is the Zangors, but in order to get, I couldn't get an angle on this Vortex Beast with any Psyker, unless I
Right.
want to double move. So that means I have to spend the ability on this one to give this one full rerolls, which I think two Vortex Beasts, Forge Fiend, and a rerolling Predator I thought would do a little bit more than 3 damage, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the way the list wants to work is I want to oath 1 target for the Vortex Beasts and sometimes the Forge Fiends and give that one +2, and then just Doom Bolt or shoot something else for the other 3.
Right. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yes, you
This guy giving +1 to hit too means I can like +1 to hit something without oath, and then
I'm back.
yeah.
Welcome back.
We're just talking about rolling 3, 3, 3, and 3 for another shots on 3 Forge Fiends.
I'm going to reset the timer on you, Isaac.
Yeah.
All right, start rejoining. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Indeed.
Cool. So it's go my turn. This is
Yeah.
almost certainly my deck. We're gonna actually. I guess we'll draw our cards first, just to be sure. We're getting another 5 in primary.
So a nice position for Isaac here is that he does have a unit on this objective if he wants to keep the Zangor Enlightened there. They do have targets if they want to just hunker down on the objective, so they can just start firing bow shots downrange while being very difficult to engage with on the crackback because of their 18-inch lone operative. And that allows this Umberlific Crystal Squad to leave the objective without potentially losing it. So Isaac can continue to score points while teleporting his unit into a more aggressive position. We'll see if he ends up doing that.
I think the answer to that is probably a yes. I don't know. It goes here. So we're going to put both So
This is going to be such an interesting matchup, right? Or sort of the next two rounds, or next round or so is going to be really interesting because I think that this game is going to look like it swings wildly both directions. It's going to look like Isaac's going to do a ton of damage, and then all these Rubric Marines that are about to engage are most likely going to get swept. And so I think by this time the smoke clears, we'll see who's in the lead here. Isaac is currently not having a great, or Isaac is currently not very well set up on terms of board presence. But on the flip side, he also was basically able to force Kyle into a round where he did basically nothing. He scored 5 points on primary, lost a very strong objective in terms of assassination, which is usually fairly scoreable over the course of the game because 1,000 Suns play a lot of characters. And then they also have this defense stronghold ticking, which I guess is fine. But the big benefit here is that Isaac is going to be up on score, and he's about to recover that difficulty he was experiencing on board control. The problem is that all of his profiles he's about to expose are most likely going to get killed pretty quickly here, unless he focuses really heavily on specifically the Forge Fiends and is able to mitigate how the Mutilith Vortex Beast as well. These Predators are scary for Magnus, but they aren't going to do too much damage to the rest of his army.
Thing to do Locust with.
I'm Dagger. How's it going? Nice to see you in the chats.
Yeah, so I think I'm
welcome in. We're
6 CP.
We're about halfway through a pretty riveting game right now. The players actually deleted a bunch of the lines of sight. That's nice. It helps us out a little bit. We're watching Warpforged Cabal on the right-hand side with all vehicles. Everything over on the right-hand side of the battlefield, basically bisected down the midline, is from K. Follier's
you could get like the
Warpforged Cabal versus on the left-hand side Commander Cha-Cha and his Grand Coven. And we're going into the bottom of round 3. Very little has happened, but some blows are about to be exchanged in a big way.
Yeah.
Is this with the updated mission pack? Yes. The mission pack updated last month. So it is it has been a new mission pack for a little while, but yeah, it is using the chapter approved 2025 format.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I actually really like it. I'm super duper vibing with chapter approved 2025.
Right now is that we have
Challenger cards feel pretty good.
Fairly far back.
See big models like the game, yeah, for sure. This is the biggest. It's the many medium-sized models kind of game. But listen, if you like big models at the current state of 40K, this is the current format for you. Chaos and Imperial Knights are like the top 2 factions right now, and everyone has to bring big stuff to beat them. So we are in a position where everyone's taking bigger and bigger armies of taller and taller boys in order to fight each other.
He's shot by 2 Predator Annihilators.
Top armies are a bit rough.
And a Vortex.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the format, right? Or the mission format. That's all the Minotaur.
Annihilators are weird in that I can blanks and rerolls are fairly effective to them. Alternatively, let's say I go 20 inches. I double them over here.
Everyone stop bringing miniatures. We bring bigs now, not minis.
Let's actually because if I go 20 inches, might be a safe spot. I do have to worry about the angle across the map. Is basically what to worry about. 20 inches is basically effectively right here. The thing with a 20-inch move, I'm not actually being that protected over here. Because the line down the middle exists like this. And it's fairly easy for you to reach. Like, this Annihilator can go, like, around the corner here and drop las cannons. The other one can go up this way, drop las cannons. Both Force Beasts can see me. This guy can even go over here. So if I go here, you get all 3 Annihilators. All 3 Annihilators. Which is not what you want. You want to basically only be 2 Annihilators max. Is basically what we're looking at. So it is possible that his best move actually is exactly where this Vortex Beast is standing.
Please don't stand there. Good.
Because it's similarly awkward for you to reach next turn, prior to dull moves and such. He can go into the Annihilator, which I think is a more... I guess actually I don't...
Yeah, Eldar's not big on the big models, I guess. That's true.
But he can still kill Forge Fiend.
You're not wrong.
And we're still looking at...
Shame they can't ally Canis Rex. They should be able to.
I'm in a better war state position, I think, than over there. So I don't hate that position. I think that's probably the plan for him. Shooting to that Vortex Beast there. These guys are probably gonna push up this way like this. They might eat the double move. Get the from master range of this guy here, and then the Vortex Beast over here, and then Bogoats into here. So that seems like a not terrible idea. This might be my Doom Bolt. We drop my crystal over here. Like so. Crystal's gonna just do that. We're gonna hop out. Probably Arcane Vortex at this point. Yeah. Okay. So I don't hate this plan here. All right. Cool. So we'll get moving. I guess we'll start over here with these guys over here. Some Bogoats. Notably, we'll set up that these Bogoats can see your Bogoats. So if randomly my Vortex piece pops off and just does 11 damage to your Forge Fiend, these can shoot into your Bogoats. It's here. I guess what we probably want to do is probably put 3 Bogos on this objective, which requires you to shoot me to stop even. The one Bogo over here is going to back up a little bit.
Bogoat. I've just heard Bogoat more times
I'm gonna roll
than I ever had
six.
before in my life.
Maybe
Just to clarify, too, folks. Here, I'm actually gonna.
six.
Oh, we're gonna do a
That's
reactive move on these
3.
guys. Yeah. It's probably worth aura-ing the players' goats so that we can keep track of them.
2, 5. Yeah, nope. Womp womp. Come on this side and make something else shoot me.
Here we go, chat. Red, Zangor Enlightened with Great Bows are Commander Chachas. Blue are Kefaliers.
These are just 2, 3, 4, 6 Bogoats. I'm gonna come over here. This gives this thing a charge target then. You're already charging them actually if you want to. We're coming up here. And these Bogos are shooting here. I'll just stay. 5. I think these guys then have to come through. I was thinking always shoot there. Kind of like having something else. Bogos have to do something else then. Gives them a lot of shots over here too. Well, if Magnus is coming over here, this is dead.
This is a strong consideration of a 5-inch reactive move here.
But we're gonna come this side and make you shoot something else at them.
So they can't go through the wall, right?
Oh, they can't. Yeah. Nope. Never mind. We're gonna stay.
Back to the drawing board. Zangors, get on back in there.
One left them.
All right, there we go. Aerospace Gaming, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. We are watching a Thousand Suns mirror match between 2 very different Thousand Suns lists.
Just make sure that gets shot that way.
Yeah, I got you. I
needed a
Let's get the
6.
line
6 would have been fantastic, but
no.
The 6 would have pulled that unit out of line of sight, which would have been a big deal.
we're saving it for the Vortex Beast.
So I don't actually think I can see the Vortex Beast. Or you can actually see this Vortex looks like, which is a little bit annoying. Scratch your tail. It's really close. So tail there. Please.
Oh, they're becoming so tactical right now. It's crazy.
So go forward, just inches like that.
The tortoise is like they went out
My
to buy plate
no.
carriers and
This one is
like helmets with cool rails on
Go
them.
there.
They're getting so tactical.
These
no,
Vortex
I'm
Beast.
sorry. I'm looking at. Oh yeah, I think it does. Is this your tentacle? The shadow? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah,
Go do that. And Magnus is, I think, just gonna go exactly where the Vortex Beast goes. Really,
Yep.
is he touch the line that you touched with your stuff?
Yep.
Except he will not be on the terrain feature, so this line cross is much harder to reach. Like this here. So There's no like line down this.
I really enjoy this communication between the players, by the way.
So doing
They're
that,
both being
you gotta stare down.
very
here,
open,
23 inches of
openly
this guy,
communicative, which is
14.
awesome.
Cool.
Is FTC fully updated? It is, yes.
We're gonna hop.
Yeah, the
Check
like
out.
reference sheets might not be, but that's because the stuff got changed.
Rhino.
Yeah, they haven't been changed since the September 2023 data slate. So yeah, that's old news. But all of the mechanics are updated. There's a new tracker here at the top in case players gain challenger cards. All of the new secondaries have been imported. All the new missions have been imported. The one thing I think we're missing is a mission generator, but otherwise it has everything else in it.
Cool.
Play with intent makes for the best games. 100%. 100%. I agree.
Oh, and the middle mauler feed my secondary mark for death target. Cool.
Are challenger cards standard? Yes. Yeah, they are used inside the
So I can shoot you in the face with.
inside the 2025 format. The one thing that doesn't get used are things like
In the Rhino?
twist cards. Those are mission special rules, but they tend to be pretty
Disembark for action.
transformative. The tournament companion actually recommends that they are not used for competitive play. They're cool for casual play, though. Or if you use the new, there's a new format for
We're not.
asymmetric
I guess
play
we
as
use them
well.
like
So if
this,
you want to
so
play
basically
those
you
kind of
just-
styles,
'cause
where
we
you
can't
play
just
like,
barely just touch the line. Yeah,
you
we
know,
stay inside the Rhino if we do
kind
this.
of like zone defense and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. But challenger cards are
Inside the
just
Rhino.
inside the Pariah Nexus,
like this.
or excuse me, the chapter approved tournament format.
This squad basically just wants to line up so they can touch.
Yeah, the twists are cool. Well, I like the idea of
based
the
off
twists
where
if you are playing in like a
goes,
casual
like-
format where you're at like an LGS or something, and you and your opponents are like
Go.
sort of either creating scenarios with them or you are using them as like handicaps, right? I think that's really cool.
Dead next
But
turn.
I definitely,
That's what it is.
I definitely don't
So
think they should be used for tournament games. Lost by 1 point 2 weeks ago. You could have if you had succeeded a challenger card, but you couldn't kill 2 units on turn 5.
this-
Oh, that's brutal.
thanks.
It's exactly what challenger cards want to do, though. They don't want to make you win right out,
18,
right,
okay.
from behind, but they do want to give you a fighting chance.
Cool.
And that's what it feels like they do quite a bit.
Cool.
The funny thing is the number of draws we see now. It's with challenger cards giving people a couple of additional points is wild. Can I give a rundown of the major damage dealers in each army? Yes, of course.
Yeah,
So the two armies are trying to approach this fight in dramatically different ways. Both of them are taking Mutilith Vortex Beasts, which are kind of an all-rounder piece. So each of these has a variable shot Warp Vortex attack profile. Can either do a Flamer, a Blast Weapon, or a Laser Cannon, and they have a pretty good melee profile, but they're kind of an all-rounder, but they're largely there to tank damage. On the Warpforged Cabal side, the Forge Fiends are going to be pretty important in a moment here. They have a high volume multi-damage attack profile, so they have 3 individual D3 shot blast weapons. So the blast special ability gives you +1 attack to that weapon if you for every 5 models composing the target unit.
All right, cool.
So if they shoot into a Rubric Marine unit of 5 models, for example, each one of those individual blast weapons is going to get +1 attack. So they can fire 3d3 plus 3 shots into a Rubric Marine squad. Each of those shots, if it converts through the invulnerable save, will immediately kill a Rubric or a sorcerer. Aspiring sorcerer, I should say, because it's a 3 damage. So those guys are very important for counter-attacking into these Marine units that are about to come out and play for Commander Cha-Cha. Against the heavier targets, like the Vortex Beasts and Magnus the Red, the Predator Annihilators are kind of the gold standard for damage here. They gain a bunch of rerolls when they target monsters or vehicles, and with the Warpforged Cabal gives them a floating hit, wound, and damage reroll. So they're very consistent, but it's only 3 las cannon attacks.
Or Crystal is going to get the build.
On the flip side, the Grand Coven list is using a lot more sort of
look at that
small
here.
independent units. Magnus the Red is the biggest single damage dealer in the the army. He has 2 separate ranged attacks that he can fire together. One of them is 3d3 devastating 3 damage shots, and the other one is d6 plus 3 ignore cover 2 damage shots. So when he is fully powered, we can give him bonus AP, reroll hits and wounds, extended range, special effects from the detachment ability. He can essentially dramatically overkill any one of these vehicles with one of those attacks. Each of the individual sorcerers is going to be pretty scary as well. They're all in Rubric Marine squads, so they get wound rerolls when targeting enemies that are controlling objectives, which is exactly what we see going on over here. We're going to try to line up on this Mauler Fiend and kill that guy with the full rerolls. We have a combination of Infernal Master and Sorcerer-led units. The Sorcerers have they have to roll to hit, but their attacks are sustained hits 3, so they have essentially a higher volume of shooting, I should say, but they're worse on Overwatch, and they rely very heavily on a once per game plus 3 strength and attacks amp that they can give themselves, which they only get one time. The Infernal Masters are the other damage dealer. These guys can automatically flip a wound roll to a 6 once per turn, and they fire a torrent weapon. So they're a little bit more consistent than the Sorcerers, but the Sorcerers do have a spike of damage that gets a little bit higher. But each of those units has a bunch of Flamers in it, plus their special weapon, their Soul Reaper Cannon, plus their Sorcerer, plus their Aspiring Sorcerer, which all cast psychic attacks. All of them get wound rerolls targeting enemies controlling objectives, and so they can. Each of these individual rubric squads can potentially kill most of, if not all of, one of these vehicles in one go. They're relatively resilient to the Predator Annihilators, but they will go down very quickly to the Forge Fiends if they get if the Forge Fiends get the opportunity to shoot them
correctly before you roll the flamer shots.
Yeah, I'm thinking. This is...
Heard some people say they make team scoring a pain. Yeah, basically everyone I've talked to has said that the WTC style team format is dramatically impacted by challenger cards. It does seem like both doing reviews on differential scoring systems, as well as just talking with the players who are parts of WTC teams, or even NTL or ATL teams, or ATC, excuse me, teams.
I don't have all my Shannons.
Those have all been impacted by the challenger scoring difference, because draws are much easier to get now, like way easier to get.
And then not get shot.
Yeah, you might be able to do that, yeah.
So we have a Zangor unit, it looks like, that's able to...
The double move, I can definitely see you.
Rapid Ingress in here? Interesting. The Rapid Ingress plays over this objective have been crazy. There is a ledge where we can come out of Strategic Reserve. So the Zangors came out round 1. Got placed into Strategic Reserve with their ability. Now they're going to be able to come back in potentially at the end of Commander Chacha's turn. The goal is going to be to try to get at least one onto an objective, and I believe there's a Shaman in this unit, but I'm not 100% sure.
Let's draw the line.
The goal is going to be to try to get at least one on the objective in a position where it can't be killed by the rubrics. They're measuring right now because the rubrics can temporal surge to get extra movement to then get line of sight to these guys. The downside, I think, is going to be that the rubrics are going to have a tough time punching through all the Zangors and having enough attacks to kill the Fatecaster Grapo Enlightened back here, as well as the Mauler Fiend. As we talked about previously, that Fatecaster Grapo unit surviving over here last battle round is actually huge, because these guys are going to be really annoying for Isaac to deal with. One thing that Isaac has a ton of individual attacks, but they're all inside these very high value units. So he doesn't have a lot of little individual utility units he can go to kill those things.
Good.
All right, well, good shooting. So cast.
Which Death Guarded Forge Fiends? Yeah, the Forge Fiend profile is so flexible. It's amazing.
Doombolt 1 into the Mauler Fiend. Doombolt 2 into the Mauler. I'm going to use our once per game double Doombolt. So we're going to do 2 Doombolts and 1 to each Mauler Fiend.
I'm sorry, hold on a second. I could do it here. I eat 3 of these, and then I'd be out of range of this.
The nice thing about these Forge Fiends, I made a video yesterday where I talked about them briefly, but The Forge Fiends having blast means they're good against high, like a bunch of profiles, like medium to heavy infantry. So like Space Marines or Terminators and 3 wound stuff that you take in like big bricks. The Forge Fiends are sort of purpose built to destroy, because if you have 5 Terminators, they're getting +3 attacks. Every one of those attacks could kill an entire Terminator. That's like really efficient. It's literal. It's a almost perfect efficiency.
So let's do the most.
But because they're high strength, high AP. They're going to attack on a lower volume against heavy armored stuff, but they can still plink damage into them, so it's actually still very relevant.
Cool. That is just...
In Chaos Space Marines, they're seeing a resurgence because of the new Vashtor datasheet, where he can give them +2 strength. So now you can take strength 12 Forge Fiends.
That's 14.
Got a big temporal surge to get our Infernal Master into range of that guy.
What we do is...
That unit's actually been hiding in the corner of this entire game, by the way. It's interesting that they were able to get a shot.
Yeah, that was 5.5. So from there, so I get 1 flamer onto that. So 1 flamer. Nothing. He's in range though. He's not in range, cool. So no flamers.
Yeah, he eats elites for breakfast for sure.
Yeah, I should have put these guys here.
That's kind of the idea.
So we're going to go ahead and do Doombolt 1, which is going to be Doombolt from...
It's also a really satisfying unit to shoot. When you roll a bunch of attacks with the Forge Friend, it's like the best thing ever.
Because that's how it's
Speaking as someone who has a bunch of games with World Eaters Forge Fiends under their belt, oh man, does it feel good.
Doombolt onto the Mauler Fiend.
Standard Forge Fiends are more expensive, it's true. But that's because they have baked-in offensive keywords, so they can get sustained or lethal hits. They can also gain devastating wounds, which is a huge deal when you're attacking like big Terminator squads, because the amount of damage that you can get out of devastating that punches through invulnerable saves is really impactful.
Right now.
They've sort of been upcharged a little bit because of an old combo they used to be able to do with wound rerolls from Profane Zeal, where they could average like 6 to 9 mortal wounds plus regular damage
Doombolt is a 3
in a shooting activation.
And then we're gonna let that fizzle. That's unlikely to do anything. And we're gonna try again with the Spiring Sorcerer.
None of the other. It should be noted, I guess, that none of the other Forge Fiends can do that, but they all have other very relevant special abilities. They don't have as high damage output for the most part, but they do get other effects. The Thousand Suns Forge Fiend, for example, suppresses enemies and makes them -1 to hit. The World Eaters Forge Fiend gets rerolls if it attacks something close to it. Both of which are eminently playable data sheets. Man, the dice this game have been horrible. Isaac's just failing his Doom Bolts here, left and right. We saw every Forge Fiend basically forget to shoot it, reload its guns over on K. Folier's turn.
CP down to 4 to give this squad a reroll of the cast.
Since it's a Zinj theme stream, decided to take a break away from owning pure corn demons, start collecting Zinj demons, and try to mix between the two. Dude, Zinj demons are cool, man.
3 mortals.
Highly recommend. One thing that if you play Chaos Demons together, they play pretty well. If you can play like a demonic incursion list that takes like Lord of Change to shoot, and then like focuses very heavily on like Scarbrand and Bloodthirsters to do melee.
Cool, that's me big extra AP on the Mauler Fiend. And last cast is Red Squad gonna try to give real hits onto from Master Guard here getting real hits in this Forge Fiend. Cool, this is gonna fail. I'm gonna try again with Sergeant. That is not great. I will try to channel it to get at least a minimum. That's gonna be the real ones, and then I'm gonna take a mortal. Alright, let's do this. Cool. So we're gonna start with the Infernal Master. He's gonna dump everything into the Mauler Fiend. Start with the number of shots from the Arcane Vortex guy. 6, that's the acceptable number. Sorry, do you mind if I shoot the Rhino first? Because the whole reason the Rhino's here. Yeah, +1 wound. Cool, so I'll just do that. Save the 6 shots. I'm just going to see if I hit. I'm going to like rolling damage because Trevor doesn't have fire deck here. Cool, I hit you with the bolter. Cool. Duck. 6 shots. Alright, real ones.
Don't blame me for no firing deck.
6, that's me.
Get out of here, Isaac. Blame GW for not printing firing deck.
2 saves at AP2. Cool. That is just a dead Mauler Fiend from complete full.
I know, it's crazy. The dice have been crazy bad.
Cool. Hazardous test in the squad.
Insane. All right. Did knock him down with the
They're gonna shoot everything into the
with
morph.
the
For the machine,
Infernal
and
Master though.
the buggoats.
Okay.
We will activate our once per game here. Here is the sorcerer. 9 shots.
So this
threes.
This is a crazy profile. It's base 3 attacks, but he has it once per game for +3 attacks and +3 strength. It's sustained hits 3, so each of those 6 becomes 4 hits instead of 1. He also grants lethals, so it will add 1 wound to the pool and then 3 more wound rolls.
I don't control.
And yeah, rerolling because the Mauler Fiend's on the
2
objective.
devastating wounds. And that's going to be 6 saves at AP 3.
I say 4.
So the sorcerer by himself just half killed that Mauler Fiend.
Cool. Here are the Warp Flamers.
We didn't even use any stratagems there, chat. That's just what he did. That was his once per game.
12 shots.
Yeah, sustained hit 3 is insane. It's so wild.
Oh, and then
The back in my day, in Index Hammer 40k, that guy had a
everything.
2d6 shot row weapon.
it's before.
So you would the joke was always that like my opponent would be like, "Oh, how much damage does he do?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's between 0 and 36 right now." And so he could turn around and
last thing to shoot
and just crack for 1 trillion damage.
Look,
Does either have Sekitar robots? No Sekitar robots in this one,
that's
unfortunately.
nice.
Those guys, I think, ended up being like
Feel
kind of a weird profile. Like not a lot of people are that excited about playing them.
my Goats.
There's very limited cases in which they are like
Shooting
super.
lines aren't effective.
Yeah. Goats take 2.
In which they are
Seems only get 1 hit though.
like super useful. Like you need spots like this where you have like a unit that you want to be able to get into that position, and not every board has that.
Right.
All right, so the rubrics each very cleanly knocked 1 vehicle down. Again, this is going to feel like the swingiest turn ever because we're going to see those rubrics kill something. This Forge Fiend is probably going to die or might die. Magnus the Red is probably going to knock something. And then we're going to come back, and I think all of these infantry are going to get swept very quickly here.
Does he wound you? He does.
Good.
Alright, cool. So you'll most likely live this snare now.
Do different sources of sustain stack? They do not know. There's a clarification in the rules commentary that says that if you have multiple instances of a numerical ability, you choose one to use, which means you'd always choose the stronger one unless for some reason you like
On 5.
you want a different value, I guess. Yeah, it's in the rules commentary. There's an entry for having multiple weapon
He's
keywords.
still left to shoot. He's shooting down here.
Try to make a save challenge impossible. The saves haven't been too bad, in fairness. There's definitely some worse saves that Kefalier could have rolled here.
His AP is 3 and 2. Does not.
He also gives
Does ignore cover on that one.
the squad lethals. Yeah, exactly.
Hit wound already.
The sustained hits, like the additional hits you gain from sustained hits, are not lethal hits. Only the 2. It's a weird interaction, but it's this way, so it's not hyper broken. Only the natural dice rolled that are criticals are actually lethal. All the other ones that are sustained are just regular non-critical hits. So if you have sustained 3 and a lethal and you roll a 6, it's 1 automatic wound and 3 wound rolls that you then have to go to the next step with.
Cool. Alright, it's 4 saves at AP2 and recover.
Yeah, exactly.
I roll 1.
8 damage.
And then given the fact that they're relatively high strength and also probably wound re-rolling, each of those sustained hits is very high value as well.
Everything.
I mean, as we just saw, like we just rolled sustained hits in 3 in here, and
As is
we handed the opponent like 6 saving throws out of 1 character, +2 devastating damage.
Was it worth armor content here?
Notably, the Master's gun does not ignore cover, so and this guy can't see you, so it could be AP 0 if you. But the Aspiring Sorcerer and the Sword for both ignore cover, and they're AP 2.
Yeah, it's a funny idiosyncrasy of the Rubric Marine datasheet. Their Icon of Flame grants ignore cover to the Rubric Marines in the unit, but not any attached characters. It's very weird. It's like it's a reverse leadership ability that only affects the infantry. I have to imagine that it worked the other way at some point during playtesting, and I realized that giving sorcerers and Infernal Masters ignore cover for free was probably too strong.
That is good. Takes a dove.
Here's the Sergeant's gun. Hitting on 3s, reeling everything.
Especially because they can pump their AP in this army now very easily.
The cast
with Kabbalistic rituals.
Well, sustain hit keeps the miss. Reeling 1s, no wounds, so you actually might live here, which is fine. You roll fairly poorly on that. Reroll that. Sustain hits on the Soul Reaper. Real ones. Oh, wait. I don't know what happened
What
there.
the hell? What the heck just happened? It like
Undo roll.
reorganized all the.
That's a new button. Okay, so we had, look at this last roll. It was 1-6. If he's most
That was
recent,
weird. I saw that. I think it pulled in a dice.
last roll.
That, or did it?
I think it's so it was 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 4s, 1 5 1 1 6. Yeah. Okay. So I just need to roll. So we had 1 dev wound, 1 wound. I need to reroll 2 ones. Okay. So let's reroll 2 dice here. Okay. So 2 dev wounds and then 2 saves. AP 2 ignore cover.
It's alive.
It's 3 damage though. So he's dead.
Oh, it's 3 damage.
It was 2 dev. It was 2 damage. 2 dev wounds. That's a failed save. It's 3 damage total.
Oh, I think I rolled 2 dev. Oh, let me redo it.
Yeah, no.
One wound.
I wounded
one
you twice.
Oh, you
no, I
wounded me
wounded you
twice.
twice.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I will. I have I'm gonna CP the one failed one.
Yeah, this is physically the last thing I shoot you, so this is probably worth it.
We're good.
Okay, so he's level 1.
Yep.
Cool. All right, Magnus, my last thing to shoot. I'll spend 2 CP. I'll give him full hit wound rolls. And I'm just gonna shoot him into the fortress in the back here.
Okay. This is all AP. This is AP.
AP 2
1.
does not recover. AP 1 that doesn't recover.
So I will get cover. I'll armor contempt him too, so it'll be on 3s.
Cool. All right, so let's.
So trying to keep this Forge Fiend alive with
First.
AOC, so he's saving on 3s. Mangus is devastating with all these attacks for this turn because of the detachment ability. That's the ability. That's the once per game
shots.
doctrine essentially that Isaac has chosen this round.
7 shots there. Reroll everything that hits. Cool. And then wounds you on 3s. Reroll everything. Because you're saving on 3s, I'm reeling on 3s. I think I'm just going to fish for dev wounds.
Well, that was worth it.
Cool. 3 saves and 3 dev wounds. Well, it's dead.
Let's go boom. It does go boom. That sucks. Predator. 6-2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you explode on 5s. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Only if I'm near the Psyker. The Morphine. Takes 1. Doesn't feel it. And then Shaman.
The downside of the detachment ability coming into play here a little bit.
These guys. Take 3.
Okay. Well, I wasn't completely perfect because I didn't kill both forward trains, but I think that was overall tournament fairly well.
Yeah.
Let's think about
Yep, that was pretty good, I think. Let's see if these Mutalith Vortex Beasts can pull it back for Kyle here. Unfortunately, things are going to start to look a little bit spicy on the score. K-Folly is going to be locked down to another 5-point primary turn, and Commander Cha-Cha is staring down the barrel of a very, very solid 10-point turn.
Kept this rapid.
Yeah.
That forces this.
Yeah.
Even then, you're not killing both then, all 3. And then you can't move this then, which means this is definitely because you just did. Yeah, I think that was a smart play, and I should have just taken.
Yeah, the explosion's pretty big because of the enhanced explosion chance that the detachment has, right?
Too. I think that would have been smarter. I think even with the full rerolls, I think I have something that lives here.
Yeah.
Which gets me a 5, and then but that's all right. We'll figure something out.
Oh, sorry. Before I pass turn, do you mind if I shoot these bogoats at this Mutalith?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So it's 8 shots into you, no reels at all. Cool. And then 6s. 2 save the Mutalith.
Plink.
Cool.
Got a little plinky.
Continue.
So
All right.
The
This
thing
was
to
a rough
consider
one.
about these rubric sorcerers is that, or the infernal masters, I should say, is that the scary part is their Overwatch. Especially this guy in the center, the red highlighted infernal master unit, has the Eldritch
Well,
Vortex
those are both
of
very small
Itaf,
secondaries.
which is going to give him
Yeah,
+1
the
strength and
problem is
damage.
it's
So
very hard to
his
get off.
Torrent is
Mary.
potentially strength 7 AP2 with an auto devastating wound because we retain the devastating characteristic until Isaac's next command phase, and can potentially full reroll if the target touches an objective. Any objective that Isaac is not currently touching at the start of this phase, he is not controlling, which means it turns on the Bringers of Change ability on the Rubric Marines data sheet. So if, for example, this Mutalith Vortex Beast or this Mutalith Vortex Beast were to trigger an Overwatch while on this objective, this is, I guess, the one that wouldn't count for it. But if this Vortex Beast triggered an Overwatch while on this objective, for example, that guy would be full wound rolling into it, which is scary for the devastating wounds. Yeah, the fact that the Psychers eat the devastating or the explosion damage is definitely a huge downside. I think that they figured that the wound, like the reroll effect of the detachment ability, was good enough to be able to assume a downside.
I noticed that playing the other guy, like it's just so low on casters in comparison without the rubrics.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always need it. Having the rubrics has helped a lot. It actually having another vortex piece helped quite a bit too.
Yeah, they're also fairly like good at, like, if you're especially as the naked rubrics, you just like walk out 5-man rubric squad, 10 OC with the flamers, is like a pretty good objective stealer.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
I like Raptor.
you know,
I like that. I mean, them coming on off the board edge, they're usually always shooting something on an objective, just walking off. So
you walk up there. So I could hold. You are just never opening this Fortune, so I'm just gonna use my Overwatch here. Because you're just never gonna win that Fortune ever in your life because it's just the silliest move you would ever do. Number of shots with the Arcane Vortex overcharged. 7 shots.
Well, you can move the Forge Fiend if you Overwatch now.
3 on 1s. Cool. Let's be 6 devastating wounds.
Oh gosh, that was a roll. That's a lot of 6s, and that's why that Overwatch is horrifying. Might damage the Vortex Beast here, which would be relevant. It sure does.
1 save, yeah.
Yep.
Is AAP?
Oh.
EP2, yeah.
8 damage goes through.
Damage?
Yep.
7 damage after the 1 Feel No Pain.
7 damage.
Puts the Mutalith down to 4. There's going to be Warp Flamers here now, too.
Slurp can.
No way they kill it, right? Do they kill it? That would be insane. Nope.
Nothing.
Not like
Sergeant. Nothing.
that. You fire the pistol maybe here?
More flamers.
Feels like higher value.
11 shots. Cool. 1 save.
Love to see a generic strat to auto-explode vehicles. Yeah, I don't know. I would prefer less vehicle explosions, I think, than more, maybe. If it was only an auto-explode, that would be kind of cool.
I'll take that.
You just did more damage in Overwatch than I did with 3 Forge Fiends, 3 Vortex Beasts, and a Predator.
8 damage to the Vortex Beast. Yeah, that pushes it to its -1 to hit profile now.
Goes out. This guy's.
Did you ever roll Battle Shock on that Forge Fiend? I guess I don't think it matters, but
He's not moving. He might cast an ability though, so we'll roll it. He's good.
in my Hazardous, I do pass it on the Red God, and I don't believe I rolled my Hazardous for this Infernal Master here, so I'm gonna do that real quick. He's fine as well. Continue.
This guy can come up. 6. It's 3.4. Cool. Just doing full sentence, kind of obnoxious, but if I go this side or this side, I think it's better. 7 to 3.3. Which means 1, 2. That's just shooting here. This guy can move now, but it's not worth it. This guy's come over. Shoot that. That's your vortex line, right?
Sorry, what is it?
Sorry, no, I'm
What line
looking
is
at this. You're good. You're good. So that means these guys want to come up 10. What else is he shooting at then? He's shooting here. Pretty much it. This guy needs to advance. Go through here. Just move. So then this to come. Clone. Is that too much? 7.5 plus 1.5 is 8. That isn't one too much. Doesn't work, right? Here it's 8.1 and then 1.9. So we can get there and touch that line. We gotta get rid of the deployment zone. It's like stopping him from moving. High deployment zone.
Yeah.
So
That as it happens. It's weird.
we can get to there. 2 more inches, 1.9. Does that mean this guy can fit? No. So it means he has to go this way, which is basically down this line, which we can get to without a problem. So then he's shooting at a vortex beast and nothing else. This guy could do it too, though. And then this guy just comes up here instead. He comes here. Well, this guy comes. I think that's probably better. There's no world I can fit both of these down this line, I don't think. There's just no way. Even with a 10, I think, or 8. Yeah, I don't think I fit here and then fit the other one behind it. So I guess to me 10, and I have to get to that second line.
Kind of love the theme of this game, chat. We've like
cool.
discovered some Necron ruins and
No.
2 separate cabals of
Put one here,
Thousand
then
Sons
this
want to
one.
fight over all of the esoteric knowledge.
Okay. Which means I only have 1, 2, 3 shooting here.
Magnus is like, no, those ancient artifacts, they're mine.
Unfortunately. Pressing a double move already. It's a long charge. Means he's coming over and he's just shooting here. Yeah, I'll see that. Okay. We'll go as 10. This is gone. This will come up as 10. He'll come up as 5.
And if we spawn a Necron army, that's what you got to do. Otherwise, I zero out the scores. I reverse the score if you don't beat the Necron army at the end.
It's okay. This guy.
Is it a good Necron army though? That's the real question.
Go over 2 and then up 8. No. Could just come in here then, shoot both ways. If he's here, that's probably fine. Shoot. So let's do that, which means these guys have to get out of the way. These guys will just slide over. This guy will come up as 10.
Looks good.
So this doing extend here without double move, which I don't love. These guys could just come over here and give up on this one. That gets me extend. You've already moved. I just gotta not give these guys.
It's
the extra.
Trazen and the boys.
These guys could.
No,
come
not
in here.
Trazen. He's
Yeah,
gonna
maybe.
destroy one of our other
Can
characters
extend.
for very little benefit.
I guess, do keep in mind, I do have 2 OC on there right now.
Oh, they're 2 OC. Alright.
Rubric Marines? Yeah.
Let's just
You get a
kill
1
them.
inch advance. A 1 inch advance will get you there as well. Killing me.
Yeah, like, I'd just like to be able to shoot.
I think that the likelihood that 2 Vortex Beasts and as a Ifrit Caster Great Bow unit and potentially a Forge Friend kills
This way.
5 Rubric Marines is pretty high.
Angle, but I want to be able to see all these guys anyway. So this is kind of the back angle I want. It's like here. So I gotta stay on that line. Which means I don't have a whole lot shooting here. That's fine. This guy's just gonna step up, make sure we're on that. This guy can move. He can move 10. What does that get me? Getting rerolls here already. So we need. I think that's fine. Alright, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That works. Okay. This guy will go here, I guess, and cast a Doombolt. These guys will come down. We're gonna try and go for a play on your home objective.
9 for the free reroll. Or double move.
We're gonna try and double move them.
That's fair. I could also do it.
I do like the
Aligned reactive moves. Aligned reactive moves do trigger off of the double move.
They do trigger off double move.
yeah, because that
not
was
shooting.
strat.
They're not phase locked now.
Yeah.
On the double.
Most ability reactive moves are
That
usable in
is
any
locked
phase. Yeah.
You
I
can
can,
move them back. And you can
yeah.
put 2, 4, 6, 8 on there. And you can also probably pull out of my shooting. Maybe not. I don't think you can pull out of the shooting.
I think I have
Anything on
to. Yeah, I don't think I have to roll like a very large number of sales to get it outside of 18. But yeah, could most likely stop the play.
Or just push for a 9-inch charge. That works too.
That's it. It's a cool little unit, though.
I didn't
The
realize that's
Zangors
off the
with an attached character
That's
just to
the
cast
double move.
Temporal Surge on them so they can go do actions. It's kind of sweet.
9, right? That's kind
Yes,
of crazy.
and a normal, advance, or fallback. I know this because it happened a few times versus Dominions. When I played back in Sisters Heyday, like I would play Thousands versus Dominions, and they would get to react move off the double move.
But does that fall under that rule where is you make a normal move but it's not considered a normal move? Same thing as like your.
No, that's
as
only
you
like
shoot
saying.
something? No.
That's only like reserves is what you're thinking of. But yeah, if you set up a reserve, you don't trigger it because like you're ending. You count having made a move, but you don't count having ended it. But
Okay.
your double move does actually count as a move.
Right. Yeah, the reactive move can't trigger off this placement that we're doing right now, but once that unit repositions itself, it could trigger.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think that would most likely mean that the Zangors wouldn't have enough OC to go be able to take the objective.
Yep.
Cabal shock.
Because just purple on range right now.
One.
They fail the battle shock.
I don't do any mortals, so they're
No, they are shooketh.
they shook. This guy's not within range of anything else. Let's do our. He can only do rerolls really. There, he can do things here. We're gonna do our rerolls onto this unit here.
Red spot, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this is gonna be. It's gonna have to be a big one for
We'll do
Kyle.
rerolls onto Red Squad.
And then we're gonna basically see how much damage
Fail. So we'll just take the reroll one.
each
We're gonna get
player can inflict
a
on each other this round, and then
this
that's gonna
14.
sort of decide the game.
Uh-huh.
If Kyle can get to a point where he can cripple Isaac's army, then he can roll that out into a likely
It's
win.
D6.
However, if Isaac survives this turn and is able to come back swinging,
Go for the big one.
he can hold for bottom of round 5
Six.
and
Take one more.
try to make something happen at the end of the game.
Zangor, no. You take on the squad, not the caster. So,
They need to go through and give the new commander buff
Ah,
to other factions.
mandatory to go.
Trazen gives a bonus to
so if I keep
Lichguard,
this guy,
Karanek
I'll
for
put
hounds,
Dragon
Slimuk for
there, and then
beasts.
this one extra guy.
What if Trazen did it to Triarch Praetorians? That'd be cool.
yeah,
It's
it's
kind of a-
mandatory to go on Shaman. It's Zangor's. You can't go on the Shaman.
It can't go on the shaman.
No. If you take any wounds, he has to hit it on the bodyguard unit.
Correct.
Even with caster
Oh.
mortals.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So we'll take it on a little guy. All right. We are so that's rules. Double. This guy moves 6. We want to be 36 from this unit, I guess. It's gonna be there. That's fine. Roll 6.
Mhm.
That's what I take.
I just saw
and
NC
then
Counter. I just saw your meme in the
cast
Discord.
a-
It's
We're gonna be on 5.
incredibly good.
Anyway, so we'll cast.
See if we can post that bad man pajama up here
On
real quick.
one. We'll go for a big one.
There we go. Caption being
Reasonable.
how the table looks after 2 rounds of a TTS Warhammer 40k game.
6. I take.
Purple squad, so
Incredible.
the fighters are all dead. Bye-bye.
All right. So we have reroll ones here, and that's pretty much it. Let's start shooting. We are going to start with this Forge Fiend into those Enlightened.
Yep.
So let's do that. Oh, this guy, you could pull this side. If you pull those 3, I think I'm fine with that. So we'll start here. 3d3. Let's not roll 3. That's way better. 2, 4, 5 plus blast is plus 3 each, so 8.
All right, here comes the Forge Fiends. Let's get some work done.
You can roll 1.
That was perfect, yeah.
So on 2s. We are within 6. We can roll another one. It's gonna be 5 on your invul.
Kills 4.
4. Cool beans. We are going to shoot this vortex beast at these guys back here.
Yep.
We'll do the d6 plus 3. For 7, there's still blast, so plus 1 is 8.
Mhm.
3s. 2s. 4.
Cool.
3.
Kills 3.
All right. We're gonna cast. Still have blast here. We're gonna cast these 3 at this. Oh, this guy still has blast. This guy could shoot him. You can't shoot down there. So have to shoot these guys. We're saving that for a charge. This guy here is going to shoot these Enlightened. D6 for 1. Hits. Wounds. No AP.
They're 5 save base, right? Yep, so take a wound.
We are going to shoot this guy at. Let's shoot these 3 first. Let's shoot him. 1, 2, 3. Shoot a bunch of stuff here. Yeah, we're gonna shoot these 3 at the guys in the middle.
Yep.
It's gonna be 6 shots on 3s. Rolling 1s.
4s.
Sorry, 4s. This guy wants to shoot. Yeah, I should have shot him first. That's okay. And then 1. 2. If you 2, we can
Are you
recover.
precisioning them or not?
Does he get a special invul save? Anything?
He has the 5-up. He's a
These
5-up,
guys
and I
do
can
too.
blink it because I'm a psyker.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, they're not doing precision.
Yep. So just on flamers.
1.
They flip the bases to keep track of what's attacked already
We're gonna
in the
shoot
turn.
This guy
So the stuff that's flipped over has already shot. The stuff that
over here.
is still upright has yet to attack.
Gun. I believe 1 shot.
So far, we've mostly just clipped out like
Uh,
2-ish units of Zangor Enlightened. Most of the Zangors on Isaac's side are dead, but his
Okay.
rubrics are still alive and kicking.
I'm not a monster.
Anti-infantry.
Oh, it's the combi weapon. Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So take a wound.
And
On purple
then
squad?
the other gun. Yep. No, that's the squad. 18-inch gun here. 24-inch one here.
Come on. Take a wound.
And then 24-inch gun into them. 3 shots. 1. Nothing.
Cool.
We're gonna give the plus to hit on to these guys.
Mhm.
We're now gonna shoot this vortex beast into them. Do d6 plus 3. Cool. For 4. We still have.
So you only have the +1 hit to the purple squad. Because it's hit by psychic weapons.
Oh, okay. So it's just as short range gun.
The purple
Alright,
+1
cool.
hit, but it's not.
All right. Yep. We'll do purple for +1 hit. Same thing. We'll still shoot over here. We have to see, we're gonna save 1 for reroll with that. So 4 shots +1 for blast. Boom. On 3s, rolling 1s. Boom.
Brutal.
1 on your invul.
Still on a flamer.
Cool.
Good.
We are going to do this shaman into these guys. Never mind, he's only 18, so he's not gonna do anything. We'll go over here. So this guy can still shoot here. This predator is gonna shoot all his guns into these enlightened.
Can you see them?
I guess not. No? Nope. Alright, so he's gonna shoot all his guns into these guys right here on the point.
Yep. Mhm.
3 shots. Sorry, 2 shots on the thing. I am not near a psyker. 1. Your invul.
Cool. 5-up. Kills the flamer.
We should have shot the other small guns first. The Havoc is 3. This one's blast. 1. Cool. We were 20, we're not 24. Then his twin linked one. Can we roll 1s at least? 1. Your invul. One more.
Last error. Are we off the objective now? Because at this point, you're going to charge purple squad, touch it with the Renewalist, so that should be
Yep.
you're going to get no matter what.
This guy is going to shoot these last 2 enlightened.
Mhm.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's fine. Four.
Oh, no. Definitely should get me. Lucky didn't, though. Yeah, I got him.
Cool. We're gonna go over to.
So that clears the objective, so Isaac can't hold it this coming turn.
At the.
It does feel like it's an ineffective or inefficient use of attacks here, but Kyle's trying to give himself the best opportunity for when Isaac
The guns first.
goes through to score out the bottom of round 5. If he can keep Isaac's score low, which he has been so far this turn,
1.
then the the impact of that fifth battle round won't be so bad, even if he's leaving Isaac with more damage on the table
Hits.
than he would otherwise.
One more.
Cool.
Minimum 2.
Cool. Kills a sword cannon.
Cool.
Okay, sweet.
Small,
She doesn't. Yeah.
small goods. Actually, this guy can only shoot that vortex beast. Guess he could shoot this purple squad. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, we'll shoot small guns there. D6. 5. 2s. 3. Kills.
Kills the dude. Yeah, sword cannon. He's
And
gone.
then the small gun, 24 inches, rapid fires, 30, 24, 2 shots, 2s. Cool. I guess you get 1 hit reroll. Let's do that. Nothing. We're gonna go over to this this guy. He is going to shoot everything. I don't think I killed
A kill here would be great, but unfortunately Isaac has
Squad.
well, I guess I believe this unit's battle shocked, so I guess that they won't be able to use Destined by Fate
Alright,
to
let's
keep the sorcerer alive.
6.
So if all the attacks go through, there's a non-zero chance
Yeah,
he just
small gun
vaporizes here.
Both hit on farmers. 2 AP2. 1 damage.
Take
Each.
1 damage on a guy.
The D6 gun for 2. 2s. 4s. 1. No AP.
He's
Cool.
good.
The blast cannons. 1.
He's dead.
And then the twin link blast cannon. We'll do his hit reroll. Cool. That should be it. We're gonna try the charges, I guess. We're gonna go for this 9-inch with a reroll.
Mhm.
There's 6, 7, 8. Great. We'll do the reroll. Nope, don't make it. We'll go with this charge. It's a 9. We'll go with that one. I don't think this is any closer. Nope.
Okay.
It's a 9. Cool. Another 7. Not gonna make it. And does this sorcerer kill me melee? No.
He could. He does hit on. He has like okay weapons.
I should have charged this guy first because you could heroic on and get 2. So I probably should have done this guy first. So watch that. So we're not gonna charge with him.
Yep, it was giving her. Gives me a chance to kill his arcane vortex and gives me a objective. So.
That was it. I did not go
Cool.
well.
Yeah,
This would have been huge. This would have kept you at
I
a
think
0.
if you make this, it basically just if you make this charge, it literally just comes out of who draws better secondary cards, really.
Yeah.
But now I
So
think
the plan was to do the double move, and I
Yeah.
was just gonna go for the 3. Like even if I fail it, it's like a couple OC, and then I would have shot more into here. But I didn't realize that these guys have the double move. So when that happened, I should have instead dropped these guys here and done the reroll hit onto something over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that reactive move, even in the movement
Yeah,
phase
it's
as
a
well.
very weird, but it is a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
That changes it quite a bit, I think. I think
You'll
it's
get
like a 5-point
extend.
game. But
You'll get extend. You won't get assassinate if you don't make the charge. So is
if I don't make this charge, so if I make this charge, I kill him. I get assassinate. You come here. You flip this and get 5 points anyway.
You see, other question here is like the
With OC2.
Infernal Master. So they're worried about an heroic intervention from the Infernal Master. If the Infernal Master elects to heroically intervene,
Waited.
he's already used his damage flip, so he's not necessarily going to survive the attack. There is a chance that the Mutalith kills him.
Fuck this up. That 5 points would have been nice.
I guess it would have been tough,
That's
though,
all right. All right.
with a Destined by Fate in the chamber.
Extend. Which is 4 points.
You could even Destine the Aspiring Sorcerer potentially to try to keep him alive if he's on the objective. But that will, even if the Sorcerer dies to the Vortex Beast attack, you would probably take the objective away because the other model on the objective is OC1 or is OC2, so an OC1 won't take it back.
For one more turn. It's not gonna matter.
I think I might have charged you. I don't know.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna spend.
You do lose the Vortex Beast most likely to the
Sticky
second
my
Sorcerer,
field,
but it
because
gives
I
you the
could play
opportunity to
Battleshock
score.
So I will stick my home field, so I hold it no matter what. I'm gonna draw my cards.
Yeah, and interesting timing on the sticky strat for the sorcerers as well. It happens before they take Battleshock tests. So even if OC would be recalculated later, you don't have to do it.
Prisoners and Storm Hostile.
Cool, this was very doable. Yeah, spend CP on the sticky. I'm gonna activate a +1 wound doctrine. Battleshocks. Battleshock is not near as relevant, so we're gonna Battleshock the Disc Squad. They're brave. The Red Squad. They're also brave. Cool. So basically, it's basically just turn. Is basically just I think we just send in Magnus, try to kill.
These guys reroll a charge for free. Can I get my?
You did. Remember, you rolled an 8 into a 7.
I know. I spent a CP for it.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I thought you did for me. All right. Wait, didn't you have 3 annihilators? Where's? Oh, he's upside down there. Like, wait.
The stealth tank.
Okay.
He's so sneaky.
He is at 1 wound, so he dies to a stiff breeze. He is at 3 wounds, so also die fairly easily. So Magnus basically goes in. He shoots you off his objective, so you don't hold it. We send in a Rubric squad. We want to kill a predator. If we kill a Forge Fiend, Mutalith, Forge Fiend, and then something else, I think we basically just seal up the game. So we're just basically try to do that. Okay, so Magnus there. So my Zangors just go this way. Just to charge your Zangors. We don't have to kill you because we hold end of turn, so they just go over there and try to tie up a little bit. Red squad just gonna stay there because I don't want you to overwatch me. Purple squad, they're not arguing for purple really. Cool. Over here, we like to react to the move the discs. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm here. Oh no, sorry,
Oh,
I didn't really track me. I was like looking at the scoreboard.
I do want to react to
no.
them.
No, go ahead.
Magnus. 6.6. There's a 7.4. Just go up here. Cool. 2 CP is a Magnus. 2 CP just spent on Magnus. Yeah. Cool. Over here. So. Yes, we go like this straight ahead. We do not get the flamers range. Okay, so maybe that's the double move. That might be. Okay, so we leave the character and go over here and double move to get the flamers range. Cool. Mutalith, go over here, touch the deck, just make sure I hold this. Yours. Red squad's there. Cool, they're standing there. So cool. We'll hop out the Rubrics from my Rhino. This is because the chance of transport already moved. This counts as a setup move and does not trigger any reactives.
Oh, this doesn't trigger a reactive?
No, because if you exit a
Oh,
transport
because you
that
can
has
move.
already moved.
Because you can move afterwards, and that's your normal move. Yeah.
No.
But if you don't,
if the transport doesn't move and you get out, you're mandatory required to move at least 0 inches, so you do trigger reactives. If the transport already moves, then you don't have to.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you're not even selectable to move any farther.
All right, at the end of the movement phase, shooting. We're gonna cast a double move on this Rubik squad over here. We're gonna put Doom bolts into the Predator Annihilator. Reroll hits the Predator Annihilator, extra AP in Predator Annihilator. Basically, put all the stuff in the Predator Annihilator, pretty much. Except for the Doom Bolt, which is yeah, actually. So we're gonna put extra AP rerolls in the Annihilator, and then we're gonna put the Doom Bolt into the 3-wound Voltreed. So 3-wound Meatloaf. Cool. So Magnus is gonna cast the Doom Bolt into the Meatloaf. Heal channel. Is not a big Doom Bolt. This is a big medium Doom Bolt, and he'll take mortals, which is fine. He's gonna give himself 2. He's gonna do 1 to Meatloaf.
Which one? This one?
The 3-wound, yeah.
Takes...
Magnus. We just need to double move 1 inch, so they're gonna cast it on themselves.
Yep.
Cool, it gets it off. So it's gonna even if I roll 1, it gets the flamers in range of you. Cool, roll 5. Cool. Just the flamers just nudge forward, so they're range to the 14. Cool. Then Magnus is gonna cast the extra AP into the Predator. He'll channel because I'm not a coward. Goes off.
I mean, it's turn 4.
Yeah.
I voted.
Cool. Magnus will take 1 wound, and then you're gonna get plus 2 AP.
Magnus
And then purple guy
just plowed himself for a bunch of damage. Awkward.
You can take mortals.
Oh, because you're...
Yeah. I rolled 12.
Plus 2.
Well, yeah. Cool. And that is a 5, which is a real 1. So I'll channel because there's not channel this guy. That's gonna be just 4 rolls there. Cool. All right. Let's go to shooting. We'll start with Magnus and spend 2 CP on him, down to 0. You can put everything into that Forge Fiend on your expansion objective.
Okay.
That's the most important thing to kill.
I guess we'll armor contempt him.
Cool. Number shots, big gun.
Moment of truth here.
Plus 2 AP going to?
On the Predator.
Yeah, alright.
Alright, we got 7 shots again. Big gun, foils hit. Wound you on 2s this time. So same deal, we're just gonna fish rerolls because we're winning on 2s. You do have cut, and we're saving on 3s. Cool, we'll just 1 dead wound this time. Because I'm plus 1 wound with psychic weapons.
Yeah.
So 1 devastating wound, and then 5 saves. I believe you have cover and AOC, so it'd be 0. Those 3 ups. There's dead.
9 damage. We'll see.
Oh,
Could reroll
Magnus,
one,
you're so strong.
And then
Look at him go.
Anyway.
What a
I
Primarch.
go boom. I do go boom. Little Terminator there. Takes 1. Predator. Takes 3. Nope.
Alright, that's Magnus done. Cool. Over here, Rubik's gonna shoot. We're gonna shoot just the character over here into the Meatloaf. So you can see your arm. And the rest will shoot into the Forge Fiend. Here's the sword can. So we just get you dead wound onto you. Same hits. There's 1 dead wound, so I'll just kill the Forge Fiend. Explosion doesn't matter because you're too far away from everyone. Cool. Frontal Master overcharge into the Fort Meatloaf. 10 shots. Rerolling just 1s. I'll flip that to a 6. It's gonna be 6 saves at AP2 on the Meatloaf.
It takes 5.
Mhm.
That's the wounded one? Or the other
Yeah. No, it's not wounded one. Infernal Master passes Battle Shock. They're done. Meatloaf here is gonna put a railgun into the Predator.
I'll smoke him. I guess
Cool.
doesn't matter.
Those wounds, you have cover, so AP2. There you go.
Good.
Cool. We're gonna do the Rhino's gonna shoot the Spreader, just make sure we score a hit. Cool. I actually don't hit with the Bolter. Here's the Havoc. 5 shots. Cool, we got hit. Not about wounding. Waste time. Swordsman's gonna shoot here. I'll hear you activate his once. The Swordsman's gonna shoot here, activates once per game. The Flamers are gonna shoot the bows. And then so Flamers is the bows. sword can and character here. Anti-infantry gun also into the bows. Here's the character into the dude. Foils hit. We'll hit on 2s because the rhino. It's lethal 1, sustain 3. Wounds you on 4s. Oh, that's an atrocious wound roll. Really 1s. Cool. That's gonna be
Jesus.
Yeah, plus that's gonna be 6 saves at AP3. You do cover.
Does it? I do get cover.
Yes, so AP2 effectively.
So 5s. 4.
Cool. Florp cannon into you. 4 rolls. Cool. It's a lethal.
4 rolls or reroll 1s?
I got 4 rolls. Man, we got the. He rolled 10.
Okay.
Cool. And then that misses. Not psychic. 5's wound, reeling 1s. That's 1 devastating wound, and then 1 save at AP Thor and recover. So basically 2 devastating wounds.
Bop, or 2.
And then here's the sergeant into the discs. Nothing. And then here's the. I believe I lost a flamer to a cast. So just 2 flamers. Into the bow goats. As going to be 11. I only get real 1s because I do control objective right now. 8 saves in the bow goats.
They're dead.
Cool. Sorcerer is going to shoot into the Predator Annihilator up here. Actually, no. We're going to shoot the bow goats back here. The Flamer is going to go to the Mutolith. The bow is going to go into the Predator. Here's the bow. That is lethal at AP4 and recover, so that just kills you. And the Flamer into the Mutolith. 2 shots. 1 wound, AP2. That's going to do 1 damage on you.
That's the wounded one?
Yes. And the sorcerer will shoot you wounded guy now. Or actually, no. We're gonna shoot the Infernal Master, the Arcane Vortex. Arcane Vortex is gonna go into the 8 wound guy. The Sergeant is gonna go into the Mutolith. Sergeant into the Mutolith. That's the same hit. Reeling 1s. There's 1 save on the Mutolith.
Good.
We're good. Arcane Vortex. Number of shots overcharged. 7 shots. Reeling 1s. Cool. Flip to 6. That's gonna be 6 saves at the Mutolith on the 8 wounds. Damage each.
That's this one?
Yeah. They're 2 damage each, so it's the Arcane
Oh.
Vortex. Is that?
He's dead. Does he go boom?
Cool. Sorcerer, I could get greedy and try to shoot this guy here. I'm just gonna try to kill Mutolith. So you can shoot everything Mutolith.
Big turn for Isaac. I think that he has he's clinched it here. I think he's gonna he's about to have too much remaining on the board for the Warpforged Cabal to swing back in. It looks like he's gonna be able to throw down a 15-point primary on bottom round 5.
Up.
We needed probably the Forge Fiend to fade Magnus's damage. Magnus is probably still good enough over there in order to take at least one of those objectives, but he can only be in one place. We could concentrate the firepower from the Predators into like something like the Vortex Beast to try to clip it, but getting rid of the individual little Rubric Marines here is going to be tough for this army.
Here. 11 inches. Basically just gets you get everyone in easily. Back over here, because front rank's got the base here. The rest will go back.
And a charge here will potentially prevent the remainder of these Angors from pushing onto the objective to take it.
ridiculous, but nice. 11 inches. This guy. What's the point of here? All right. Cool. Zangor Blades. 20 attacks.
Yeah, on 4s.
4s. I think they're like strength 5 randomly or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, some 3s.
So 3s. 7 saves.
Dang, brutal Zangor and Zangor action there. Just crushes half the unit. Look at him go.
They'll pile in and swing back.
Yep.
Four of them, so 8 attacks. On 3s. 4.
You kill 4.
And then the Shaman, 3 attacks. 2s. Nothing.
All right, so I'll grab Storm for taking the middle, and I'll get no resistors for Max. I'll pass to you.
I do get a card.
Yes.
Challenger. I can't read it. End of each turn.
More subhuman animal hybrids. We just need
So max I can get
Felids,
5.
you know?
I can get 3. I can get tempting target I can't do. So you just pick this one.
Yep.
CP that.
I think this is going to be Isaac's game at the end here.
Either I don't think. 1, 2, 3.
Display
4,
of might.
8.
Yeah, he's out of units.
You grab assassination, which I believe you do. I believe is impossible for you to win.
Yeah. So I get 5. Just say I get 5. You get 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then whatever Isaac draws here. And I think that's going to be a win for the old Grand Coven.
Sabotage
What
and
you can do.
extend. I can extend for 4
5.
easily, and then
And
I am in a
sabotage.
position where I can get the big sabotage, I believe. What's the point zone on this map? It is tempting. So Max can go here and do big sabotage.
Yep.
And that's it.
With that 5, if I had flipped your home objective, I don't think it matters either way. No.
Yeah,
Even
it looks a
if
little
I
closer.
Down and got my 10 from being on that side. I don't think it matters. And then I wouldn't get this card though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to push earlier because it's taking hold bottom of turn. Like this Vortex Beast not dying, but that didn't really matter at all.
Yeah, because like he shot the Forge
Yeah.
and missed, and
Yeah,
then he
so,
shot
like,
the now there and missed.
That's
He literally didn't
nothing.
matter.
This kind of flustered me. I should have done something different once I knew that they weren't going to make that. I mean, ruling a 9 charge, and then I screwed this up pretty bad too. Because I guess if I had gotten that assassinate, there's a world I got.
To be
10 more
fair, I don't know if I would have heroics because there's a chance I already need my flip on the Overwatch, and I also
Yeah.
and then if I stay with you, then I don't get to shoot, so then I lose Arcane Vortex shooting. I don't know, I like 50-50 in my head, but
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also there's the opportunity that
I hear.
you could take the objective and lose it anyway, assuming Aspiring Sorcerer dies, which is likely.
That's 5 I could have got, and then I could have got 5 just by landing here, or I mean this.
On that heroic intervention they were considering ages ago.
I definitely would have done the Rappling Grist here.
Yeah, because you would have had to double move this, which means this wasn't taking far less, and then I think even if you double move this one, I don't think you
I have
killed.
to
those
split
angles.
fire. I think what
And
I
that
end up
was-
doing is I just at that point I don't commit to do that. I just do the double over here. Basically, like it gives you extra 5 points and a unit position to like tie up a Rick Squad for free.
And or now I can even make this charge.
Yeah.
I mean that's too long, but no, because you guys in front of them. It would have been a little different.
Well, I would
Like,
reactive backwards probably. if you
That's
do that.
true. I charge these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I mean, I put things out earlier, but then I think you can still stay back here and shoot them without much.
Magnus is like
contest.
so much of a danger in this list,
Small, like,
in this matchup.
Being here early,
He's able to just like
Still
rip vehicles off the table from 30 inches
I
away,
can do about it.
39 inches away.
I
Even.
think the power. I think the main issue in the mirror match here is that basically that I can basically always activate to kill one of your things like with one and like half of my things. Like Magnus
Yeah.
and like a thing can kill the vehicle basically every time. Doom Bolt and Reverse Fog to kill the vehicle base every time. Versus as you have to shoot like 3 vehicles into one thing to kill it.
Yeah. But you don't have good targets. I mean, you have 2 good targets. They're Mauler Fiend and this. I mean, the Vortex Beast and him. And he blanks the first one. And he's on 4 up saves. And then this guy, this is risky. I could have taken shots at him. But then I figured if even if this thing shoots and kills him, it doesn't get me anything. I'd rather get this stuff. It's much better. I think like dropping the Mauler Fiends and adding like rubrics
Yeah.
and like smaller stuff for more screens, more like infantry shooting will help. I think quite a bit. I think going second would help a little bit too, but I don't know if it makes up 10 points, maybe 5, 10.
Yeah, robot Isaac over here.
Did I just lose you? I think your mic just went haywire.
Because it
Oh, there you go.
No. Poor Commander Cha-Cha, I think, is Commander...
I think your mic's all.
Yeah. Commander Lag Spike.
I think we lost your mic. It's like cutting. I can see
helps
your green, but
Yeah, I'm getting that too.
all right. Isaac, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
We're getting a real word.
Yeah, we get like what the beginning of a syllable every 10 seconds.
Weird. I heard his mic make like a almost like short circuited.
Yeah, it was
I don't
wild.
know.
It was wild.
Yeah. What do you think, Trevor? Should have been more aggressive earlier, or do you think?
Yeah, I think potentially. Like the danger is that Magnus like sandpapers you, right? Because he's like so difficult to interact with, and they can just like pump his range to 1 trillion inches.
Well, I mean, so the problem is if I give him a charge, and because he can kill 2 tanks with his reroll full thing.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I give him a charge too, so now I'm letting him kill 3. I was hoping if I killed these 2 Vortex Beasts at second turn, third turn, he lose enough shooting that I could maybe push, but it didn't happen either.
Yeah.
This play, that's crazy that they can do that during the even.
Yeah, it's the case for every or just about every reactive move that's in a datasheet ability. Most of the ones that are stratagems are phase locked, but datasheet abilities typically just say anytime someone ends a movement.
Yeah. The lock on these guys is so good.
Yeah.
It makes that package expensive, but I think it's worth it.
Yep.
It's hard to deal with.
Yeah, and
The 30 range.
especially given that most of the other casters are pretty squishy, right? Like it gives you something that you can stand in the open and go in and run and do rituals with, which is a big deal. Given that rubrics will just be dead if they do that.
Yeah.
Well, good game, you two. That was
Yeah.
super fun one to watch.
These are always hard on the brain.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. There was I could hear the steam coming out of you guys' ears there for a little bit.
Oh, the mirror match is a nightmare. I hate it.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. No, it was a good game.
Cool.
I wish I was a little more aggressive, but or got my assassinate. I would have been happy with. I think, but
Yeah, it's also like going second's really big here. Like, if you go second, then you get like literally if one of us has objective, we immediately die. So it's like you going second, and it like helps whoever goes second.
Yeah.
As far as you had to take the risk to push out versus I didn't.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it probably is the case that like first player has to just like eat it. And like I guess it helps a little bit that a lot of the damage, especially like round 2 would potentially be coming out of rubrics, and so you can just like threaten the objectives but not take them, and then like they do a lot less that turn.
still do a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're always going to get hit by them.
Wild.
Yeah, but I mean, they are like 200 plus point units, right? So like you expect them to do something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got your scores in, so you guys are all set. Thank you two for playing, and Isaac, congratulations on taking another one down.
A pod win in this economy.
You can start spending these things like pennies, you know.
I don't know. I actually don't want to. I usually play a goofier list in pods, so I don't.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't win as many pods as I should.
Yep.
That's
what-
I did sign up for a lot of them. Right?
The other pod, and I really like it. It just feels a little bad when you do stuff with it.
Oh, Warp Meld Pact?
So much fun. Oh yeah, it's fun to play.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, when you have to explain to your opponent, you're like, no. I understand that you've already targeted me, but now I'm not targetable anymore. I don't know why they said it works this way, but they did.
I think in shooting phase it's reasonable, like because you're only sticking like one thing in an objective, and like, all right, so I can either put something on the objective to stop you from just coming back on it,
Yeah.
I can charge it, or like plan to shoot something else. It's when you pull out after they pile in,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Yeah, almost certainly should not work that
Yeah.
way. Yeah, it's crazy it works in melee. I had no idea because I was like, surely this is shooting phase only. Like, nope. Anytime you attack. Oh, okay. To be able to pull models out of engagement and physical attacks. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's super wild that melee attacks don't lock in, but it is what it is. Pretty wild.
Mhm.
Well, cool.
I'll take care of this. I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you too for the game. Have a good one, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
I'll see you around in the near future.
Invitational, baby.
Let's go. Cheers.
When's it go out next week?
Yeah, invites will go out on next Tuesday. So 8
Are we
days,
locked to one list?
I think it will be a list and then a top cut, and you can switch the list between cuts.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sweet.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
All right, chat. That's it for us today. Congratulations to Commander Cha-Cha winning it. What do you have for prediction? Oh, not a very highly ranked prediction here this time around. But Grand Coven continuing to prove why it is so impressive. I'm going to go ahead and go raiding. I have been live for like 9 hours today, so it's time to go to sleep. Might record some content right now. Actually, I'm not sure. We'll see. I have a patron video I want to record. But anyway, that's not for you all. That's for me later. Let's go ahead and find somebody playing some Warhammer. Spleen VT is on Warhammer, but doesn't look like anything's going on. Oh, we do have a game going on. Tito Frito is playing 40K tournament Death Guard versus Adepta Sororitas over on Tabletop Simulator. We're gonna go ahead and give them a raid. It kind of looks like a BCO map, actually. Is this Dude's Hammer? Are we playing Black Crusade? It says round 1 of a tournament, so I would assume Black Crusade is going to round 3 tonight. So I assume it's later. Anyway, we'll see you all there. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Give Tito Frito a follow, and I will see you tomorrow for Tactical Tuesday. Cheers, everyone.